Good evening, as Sar would say. It's time for the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament Swiss Round Reveal. Are you ready for that? That's a mouthful. The Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament is underway, most importantly. And let's take a look at how the first round is going to shake out. I'm joined in the booth here with Silverfire, and we're going to walk through these head-to-head matchups one at a time and try to break down what we know about these racers and how they're going to do against each other. The first one we've got is Crystal MTG versus Demarine. Silverfire, what can you tell us?
Certainly well known from the Final Fantasy I Randomizer first tournament.
He is the first tournament champion. He is the league co-champion. His pedigree with this game is known to many, and he's a strong favorite to win this tournament. So we're all going to see how Demarine does for an upset. Demarine, on the other hand, SRL ranked 10th in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We have a lot of cross-trained racers in this tournament, which is pretty exciting. We see people
she quickly rose in the Free Enterprise Final Fantasy IV ranks, and during the weeklies for that.
But as yet,
she's just recently picked up Final Fantasy I Randomizer and hasn't actually done any SRLs, although I know she's streamed some practice on her stream.
Yeah, so new to the community that I apologize. I didn't know Demarine was a she. But I do now, and I'm looking forward to this first round race.
Should we get to the next one?
Second, Demon Frog 1983 versus Ich bin Maya. Well, I'll start with Maya, who is one of the commissioners of the tournament, one of the commissioners of the league, and an all-around friend and good guy of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. If you've been here for long, you've encountered him, and it's been a pleasure. He's ranked 10th in the league, tied for 25th in the inaugural tournament, and is 22nd in SRL rank. Demon Frog 1983, SRL rank 63. Bit of a newcomer on the scene, but very active in the Discord lately. And let's go next. Next round, High Spirits versus Solaris Drix. High Spirits, new in the community, 47th rank in Final Fantasy Randomizer SRL League. Dragon Warrior Randomizer, 4th. Dragon Quest 8, 90% rank 1st in the world. Again, when I talk about cross trainers,
also known for basically every other Dragon Quest game, but not the biggest on Final Fantasy usually. But he's been getting into this randomizer pretty recently and seems to be enjoying himself. And as you can see from his Dragon Warrior randomizer, he's not only SRL rank 4th, he's also placed very well in multiple Dragon Warrior randomizer tournaments.
Solaris Drix been around the community for a while, 43rd in FFR SRL, and should be a great matchup here. A couple of balanced contenders, very closely ranked. Now let's go to the next race. Silverfire, you kick this one off.
So Trimson is a name I've certainly seen in Final Fantasy Randomizer, and has come over the other direction for FF4FE in that we've seen some Final Fantasy I Randomizer players come over to the Final Fantasy IV community. He's been around for a while, but doesn't show up that often for races. I don't know anything about Papa Foy's, though.
All I can tell you about Papa Foy's is that he's in the 20th or so tier in the FFR League, the FFR inaugural tournament, and the FFR SRL rankings. So while Papa Foy's might be make some popping noise, Trenton GL is known to the randomizer community as a commentator and another popular figure that works his way around. So this will be an interesting one to follow because you've got a solid racer versus somebody with a lot of experience all over the place, and I look forward to seeing how this one
I think
shakes
Trenton also has done a fair bit of commentary, right?
I never heard the man before. I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just coding your own game. Tritton was the guy that educated me. I've worked with him many times, and it's always awesome. So I got a personal bias. Okay. I'm going to be pulling for.
So is this a battle of the commentators then?
A little bit. Up next, we got Bismarck 189 taking on X Ice Blue. Bismarck is 27th in SRL rank and participated in Final Fantasy Randomizer for a long time. Ice Blue came second in the inaugural tournament and 11th in the league, and is 4th in the world in the Vegas Stakes Super Nintendo Casino Simulator, any percent. And while we're going on here, I'd like to point out that this opening tier is completely randomized. So we're not seeding based on SRL rank or previous performance. The mob had spoken, the votes were cast, the administration sat down and decided to go full rando for the rando. And so these matchups are anybody that entered against anybody else with no seeding. And X Ice Blue is a strong favorite to win here, but both of these guys have been around FFR. We'll see. And next, Edgeworth versus DD Gamings. Silverfire?
So Edgeworth is a big name in pretty much every randomizer, especially the RPG randomizers. Hang
on. Third place tournament finished in the inaugural tournament. Fourth place SRL. Strong Dynasty Warrior randomizer, SRL player, 13th in that community. DD Gamings is 45th in FFR SRL and tied for 17th in the inaugural tournament. So he's known the game, he's been around the scene for a year, and 29th in the world in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Any Percent, which is a classic that many of us played as kids. So DD Gamings has his history with Final Fantasy, and we'll see Edge probably the favorite here, but anything can happen.
Edge is definitely the favorite. He's a very consistent Final Fantasy randomizer player, which is going to be with the way these Swiss seeds work. Consistency is key.
Yeah, DD Gaming's got
There's not as many chances to get randoed out.
Yeah,
so
DD Gaming's has got his work cut out for him to topple Edge, but we'll keep our eye on this one. You never know. Next, Edge Figaro taking on Fuzzy Mage. Edge, I know from his performance in Strong Finisher in There's a lot of edges. You get your Edgeworth, you get your Edge Figaro, you get your Edge, the Ninja. 10th SRL, 18th VR Entrance Rando tournament, tied for 9th. Another cross-trained player with skills across the board. Bit of a dark horse, unranked in FFR.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen them around, but we're getting a lot of new faces, so that's cool.
That's cool. Good luck, dude. Tilo versus
we appreciate it.
versus Black Knight. Another dark horse, Black Knight, so far unranked in FFR SRL. I've been around, been learning the game. Tilo, 33rd in FFR and 23rd in Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors randomizer. That sounds great. Dragon Warrior randomizer. And has been learning the game for a while now. So again, this could go either way because unranked doesn't mean doesn't know what they're doing. It just means they don't have an SRL rank.
This definitely could be one of those where you can't really call it very easily with the information we have.
There's not enough data for me to make a hunch, but I'm excited to watch. What's next? Miot versus Ali Gerbrap. So Miot is Final Fantasy Randomizer heritage right there. Tied for 5th in the first tournament and 23rd in SRL ranking. And in Final Fantasy II, Any Percent for Nintendo, second place world record. And Ali Gerbrap is a runner from Montreal that I know as a fellow Canadian, and 24th in SRL rank and a perennial contender in the league. Was often racing and has been racing this game on SRL for a long time. So this could go one way or the other, and this is a really balanced matchup, I see. Next is Drumbordus versus Sforzando. Silver?
So Drumbordus is actually a speedrunner from a handful of other games. So you see his Altered Beast world record there. He's also known to the Earthbound community. He's known to a couple other RPGs as well, and he's been around for Final Fantasy Randomizer as well, placing well in the tournament, but he doesn't show up for as many SRL races, so his SRL rank is probably a little bit of a misnomer.
Yes, Forzando, on the other hand, all over this game. He was 8th in the league, 14th in SRL rank, his very high score, and he is 2nd place in the world record race for the speed run of Wizards and Warriors. It's a game I know he was playing for a long time. He bought a Nintendo and a flash card to play it better. He's getting down and dirty with playing Final Fantasy Randomizer seriously.
That was his retro RPGs then.
For sure. And he's also, one of the guinea piggers that likes to work on testing and get his opinion out there. So I know him well, and I know this is going to be a great race. Split Punched and Fuchsia Fantasy, another well-balanced race. So Split is 7th in SRL rank and Fuchsia is 6th. What else do I need to say? Fuchsia's got fantasy right in the name, and Split loves to talk in the community about all of the different strategies that you can use in FFR. It's a game that seems simple but has a lot of wacky stuff you can try and pull off, and Split is all over that. This is definitely one to watch. Lord of the Synth taking on Silver Fire. Silver, why don't you describe this Silver Fire guy?
I don't know. I play a couple random RPGs, I guess.
And it looks like you're going to be taking on the Lord of the Synth. He's unranked in FFR.
Yep, but I know this person from Dragon Warrior Randomizer, that's for sure. He shows up fair bit. Placed well in our Chaos tournament, and has been around for a while in the Dragon Warrior Rando community in general.
Well, I don't know if I like your chances, but good luck all the same. Who's next? The Arson Horse taking on the Joker MB. Don't let the SRL ranks fool you. Joker's played this game a lot in the initial tournament. He came 25th, was an active commentator back then, and knows FFR well. He'll need to apprise himself of the latest changes, but Joker's a known name around these parts. Arson Horse is not the dark horse that 42 in SRL would have you believe, but this is one to watch because we got somebody that's played the game a longer period ago and maybe has slipped in rank for just lack of being in the community for a while, bouncing back against someone who's, superior in rank, but just about in the middle. So this one could go either way too, and it'll be one to watch just for the name recognition. And up next is Falconic versus Zarbi89. Falconic is 54th in SRL rank after playing this game for like a week. He's already been featured in a couple of fun races over the last two evenings, pretty much, and has just blitzkrieged his way into the mindshare for FFR. Zarbi89 sitting at 67th, tied for 13th in the initial FFR tournament, and Link to the Past Randomizer any percent. Shoot.
No major glitches.
No major glitches.
It's the main category for Link to the Past.
Yeah,
and
it's got to be a big deal if 142nd is a worthy place, and with the gigantic community of LTTPR, that's...
Yeah, 133 is a very solid time for Link to the Past. I believe that's actually a typo, that it should be just Link to the Past any percent, no major glitches, not the randomizer, no major glitches.
That makes a lot more sense to me now.
But 133 is a very solid time in...
yeah, especially in LTTP, yes, even better. Because it's probably one of the biggest gaming communities and racing communities there is. All right, next is Rainbow Poogle versus White Mage is a guy. Rainbow Poogle, I know for a fact, is a girl, and she is sitting in 70th in the FFR ranking, and she is an active participant in our guinea pigging, and also Ori and the Blind Forest. All skills, no out of bounds, rank 103rd.
This might be another one of those situations where their SRL rank doesn't really show how much they play Final Fantasy Randomizer. Like if she's doing, if she's guinea pigging, then she might not be playing in the races, but is certainly experienced with the game.
Yeah, and she knows the game recently too. I know her personally from all the guinea pigging that we do, so that gives me a little more insight into her angle. And she does sort of like to take things easy, which means your scores are always going to be lower than what's behind there if you turn it up and try to literally play to win. So this could shake out either way. White Mage is a guy, unranked, new to the community. We'll see how this one plays out. Next is Brilliant and Insane versus Lord Fizzlebeef. Both been around the community for a really long time. both in the 20s in SRL rank. Brilliant came 12th in the league, also an active tester. This is just going to be a good, solid knock him down, drag him out race between these two veterans. Next, Magus versus the Green Cleric. Magus unranked in FFR SRL, Green Cleric 49th. Both entered the first tournament, both finished in the middle of the pack, 25th, 17th. And both sort of cross-trained players, Magus with Link to the Past, no major glitches, any percent, 259th. And that's only 11 minutes behind the time we saw before, to give you an idea of 100 places worse. And Green Cleric, of course, FF1, PSP, 80%, 40th, as you can see there. So, again, a balanced match, and both players that have known the game for...
Magus also I recognize from some of the other RPG communities like Final Fantasy and Mystic Quest.
Another match of veterans, Quicklade versus Len the Cat. Both league members, both good scores in SRL. Quicklade in the top 10, probably a favorite here, but both know the game really well and have been around for a long time, and this will be one to watch for sure. Next is Tyrannex versus Shaileja. Tyrannex 61st in FFR SRL. Shaileja 35th, 16th in the inaugural tournament, and 14th in FFR FE. So again, someone with broad experience. Looks to be a well-matched race. I find
Shaileja to be a very dangerous person to race against, because just sometimes Shaileja just finishes way faster than everyone else. It's like, wait, where did all that time come from?
Yeah, I've called a few races with Shaileja, and a quieter person that I don't know as well, so I don't know what to say, but you're right. Sneaky scorer who can strike well, and this will be a balanced match between people that have played this game for a while. All right, another match of vets. We've got Jay Coper versus Salty Fry. Both in the teens in SRL rank, both...
I don't think there's a randomizer Jay Coper doesn't play well.
No, that's true. And FFR is definitely a randomizer that Salty also plays really well. Also 8th in Link to the Past SRL rank. So that's high scores. I'll say it again. And this is a great one to watch.
This is probably our the biggest match of the Titans that I've seen so far in the first round.
Yeah. Well said. This might be the match of the round. But there's a bunch of close ones. But this is not only close, but also very skilled players at high level. And we've got Sardia versus Wilkliosis, a couple of big community folk shuffled together in the first round. So Sardia, another tournament administrator, another league administrator, someone that you have probably heard of if you've watched even a single FFR race, all over this community and helping organize this very event. Wilkliosis, newer to the community but extremely active lately, created the
yeah, that's a big. If they're new to the community, jumping up to 36 is a big jump for someone new.
That's true.
It takes a lot of races to jump that fast.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. They even know each other because we do things like occasionally guinea pigging together or planning the... Will even made the teaser video for this tournament. So this will be exciting just because these are some noisy guys that are going to go at it and have a great time. So I like the look of this match. Next is Minochi versus I Am the Schwartz. Minochi, also tied for first in the league, plays this game, obviously as well as anyone. I Am the Schwartz, unranked, but 35th in Link to the Past randomizer and 300th.
We'll have to see how these cross-training skills go, because that's some serious LTTPR rank. 35th in LTTP, really high.
Exactly. And first in the FFR League is pretty darn high. So this one will be exciting. If those skills carry over and I Am the Schwartz picks up this game fast enough, this could be one to watch. Otherwise, money's on Minochi. And the Hangry Canuck versus Bratster. Hangry Canuck's unranked. Bratster was 9th in the first tournament, 16th in the league, and currently 12th in SRL. So the edge is obviously going to go to Bratster here. He's played this game for a long time, plays it well, and Hangry's going to have his work cut out. And that is your round 1 Swiss shakedown. Good luck to all of our competitors. Thanks for joining. Thanks for getting hyped for this. We've got a little surprise coming up immediately following this reveal. And that is going to be yet another teaser race of some wacky FFR alpha software. We didn't want to run the tournament flags because you're going to get a big dose of those in the coming weeks. So we thought we'd again, throw open the floodgates of what's coming up and get some hype for even further down the road. Yeah, these wacky features, yep.
Welcome to the entrance randomizer.
Welcome to the entrance randomizer. You're not really sure what you're being welcomed into because that entrance has in fact been randomized. So not only that was yesterday's race. We're now also shuffling the floors. So from one floor to the next of a dungeon, though that staircase could go anywhere. That is probably the wackiest thing done to date. I've had the pleasure of working on parts of it, fixing some bugs, improving the performance, and once again, here we are ready to try and show it off. We're going to have some contingencies if things don't go as planned, but let's hope they do for now. And let's get everybody introduced. So tonight's runners are Will Cleosis, Bismarck, Rainbow Poogle, and I think we've got Tristal in the bottom left. It depends on, Tristal has come in as a late game substitution due to some technical issues. So we've got Bismarck, who's been on the community for a while. Will and Rainbow are popular testers who have definitely played this format before and know it fairly well. And of course, we just talked about how Tristal, former league co-champion, former tournament champion, has played 1 or 2 entrance and floor shuffles in alpha as well and helped us work through some of these issues, get some good feedback from him. So this should be a pretty exciting show here. I got my fingers crossed everything works more than I am excited to see this be shown off. So we talked a bit about floor shuffle and what that means. We're also going to see some more details in a minute. I guess got a little bit more I want to mention about the tournament. We randomly shuffled the first round. It should be randomly shuffled every round, and the Swiss format will go 5 rounds before we enter into a playoff bracket style to complete the tournament. Those 5 rounds means every single person gets to play at least 5 games. The very topmost few will be selected for a bracket stage, but everyone gets to play 5. Top 16 in the bracket stage, just like the World Cup. And everyone gets to play 5 rounds. So whether or not, even if you're not in the top 16, you got something to play for, put up a good record, put up a good score, play for your pride, and get some great experience playing against some people at your level in FFR. The Swiss system does a good job of creating a lot of close matches because each round you're paired with someone with your exact record or as close as possible, which means you get to play against people that will challenge you, not necessarily destroy you, not be too easy, and it should allow you to really feel that pressure and grow as a player and experience something fun. So I look forward and congratulate everybody for getting started and finding the courage to enter. And, may luck be always on your side.
A couple other things. It's already mentioned in chat, but this is a new tracker that shows off the item names, so it's a little easier to recognize icons since you don't see them very often in the graphics very often in the game. In fact, for the key items, you don't see them at all. Also, maybe we should talk about the class choices, because while Black Belt and Red Mage are forced here, and they have to choose, they cannot switch from those 2 first slots, the second 2 are their choice, and we see 3 different setups here among the 4 players.
Yeah, fighters are often popular choice because they can equip all the armor, they give you that tanky character, and if you find great gear, they can equip most of the weapons. Right off the bat...
Oh my!
Corneria Castle. Right. So that's going to be an interesting leveling possibility, like right off the bat. We've got Fire 2 available in stores. And, keep your head screwed on straight. We're going to be going through a lot here. On the White Magic side, we don't have a lot. That's worthy of mention. In the weapon store, we've got a Lock 2-axe, not going to get people too excited. This is going to be a bit of a doozy. That Fire 2 is not going to do too much for you in the Sea Shrine. There's Pro Capes for $5,900, and wooden armor, copper bracelets, Slim pickings, but at least it's equipable for just about everybody. Coral sword and a giant sword. And a $16,600 crown. We'll see how necessary that is. I mean, we have literally no idea where that kindly old king lives in Entrance and Floor Shuffle, so...
It's pretty likely to be required, but or at least it's going to be useful. They'll certainly want to remember where that is.
Yeah. Pencil it in your books. You can't afford it now. You're probably going to have to come back for it later.
Oof, trying to cheese through some of these ghosts with the fire too, but doesn't look like anyone actually succeeded.
Yeah, ghosts are going to hit pretty hard. Crystal has already found his way to good old Garland, though. He wasn't too far.
Zardia mentions that with the keep permissions flag on, red mages are pretty limited in what spells they can learn. Looks like we have one of the Zardia Islands up here. At
They're just the Cardia Islands. They're just the Cardia Islands.
They're definitely the Zardia Islands. I don't know what you're talking about.
He claims they are. I'm not too sure about that. All right, so Tristel's got Garland taken down. He wasn't far off. And so
where was Garland? Where was this? Was this the Dwarf Cave?
If it's tinted gold, it should be the Dwarf Cave. So that's an important thing to note. The tinting is designed to help us remember what the actual entrance was. So the palette choices for the dungeons, where possible, and there are some technical limitations that make it so you can't always do it, but generally the dungeons shall be tinted to match the entrance. Now, it's all great that we rescued the princess, but we still don't actually know where Corneria Castle is. Oh, I see. Temple of Fiends was right underneath that Flora Sea Shrine. So, we don't know where Corneria Castle is.
Oh, wait,
so we can't retrieve the bounty anyway.
So you go downstairs in Temple of Fiends?
No. Below the Sea Shrine, below Corneria Castle, was the Temple of Fiends, and that's where they encountered Garland. Yes. Now, we've got... The actual Temple of Fiends entrance is the Cardia Isle.
Yep.
We got a gold bracelet in there, that's good stuff. And some cash. Got a question from chat. Have there been, can we cover the slight changes into the world map? Yes. We got a Fog 2 step, so I didn't want to miss a pretty good white magic spell. Boost all your absorb.
That's a new item.
Yes. Oh, magic item shuffle. We can get into that too. Oh, we have so much to cover, Silver, and so little time. But let's talk about the world map shuffle. So as we see in Bismarck's screen, he's heading west. When you check off the open progression flag, you can actually walk to the vanilla Dwarf Cave entrance right off the bat without any equipment. That's one of the things. Another one, and the Dwarf Cave is the mermaids. So that's a lucky find. A lot of chests in here. Let's keep our eyes peeled, and we'll get into more details about open progression in a moment. There's the other aspects of open progression are a removal of some mountains between... Harm 4 Hammer is good stuff. That's going to
be very good against those ghosts that were...
Yeah, the smart money's going to take that and grind some ghosts right off the bat and get some quick levels. Now, where was I? Yes, open progression has removed also a stretch of mountains between ice and volcano so that you can canoe all the way from Promoka to Crescent Lake and indeed all the way around the initial continent. As well as adding a dock near Onrak and a dock near the Mirage Tower, enabling far more variety in where you can sail. So it can really open up the game if something like the floater is required to be purchased out of the item shop in Onrak, for example. Wacky stuff can happen, and we like wacky. Okay, Bismarck makes it to Matoya's cave, but it's just empty. So all of the Cardia Islands are always going to be tinted the same, and they're always going to be tinted the entrance that the biggest one is. I mean, if we want to go into details, that's the one that was Temple of Fiends, because it was tinted to grayscale, like Temple of Fiends, and all the other Cardia Islands are going to receive the same tint. It's a little bit confusing, but that's just kind of the way it is in alpha software, and I'm not sure if that one's ever going to get any better.
That might be limitations at the realm level.
Yeah, I apologize if you're new to this game and you're like, what is going on? This isn't the most newcomer-friendly set of flags to be playing, but for people that do love this game, I hope you're excited, because this is pretty crazy. Alright, we'll head south
From... like those ogre fights are unrunnable. That's a little bit of an obnoxious thing going on in this region of the world.
Oh, yes.
Which fights are unrunnable is one of the things that's random. And if a fight is unrunnable, it will show wait instead of run to make it very clear to you that, no, you really can't run.
Yeah,
so you won't at least... But you still may be annoyed at what's going on.
I'm not annoyed at what's going on. I'm merely bewildered.
Yeah, so this is full floor shuffle, meaning that where, like, once you go down a level from a place, it could be a different dungeon. And that's gets very confusing very quickly.
Yes. It does require, like, I mean, it's as much about exploration as it is about overcoming obstacles. Now, you have to poke your head in and say, oh boy, I don't know if I can even take on, say, this next floor. I'm going to retreat, but now I have to remember to come back, because I don't even know what was below it.
Looks like Bismarck found the bridge somewhere. I didn't see where that was. But he was able to walk over to what appears to be Provoca somewhere. Or maybe this was... where did he get? I didn't see how he got to where he is.
I confess.
4 streams is a lot to take in.
Yeah, chat,
but he gets the canoe out of Provoca.
All right, out of wherever Provoca was. Towns will also pick up a bit of tint, so depending on if they were shuffled
Provoca
or not.
Wasn't I didn't see where the bridge was, though.
It looks like the towns are not shuffled. I did not check the flags. Perhaps I should have been better prepared for this, but as you can tell from my coverage of the bracket reveal.
Towns stay the same. Somebody's confirmed it. Thank you.
Preparation's not in my bag. So at least we got vanilla towns, but we didn't have to. There's an option. You can just dump the towns right into the deck when you shuffle it. And,
it's like we have life and heal, too. Those are some nice spells to have at a red mage accessible location. Also, Brack and Lit, too.
You say this, but we got keep permissions on. So those red mages.
Yeah, but level two red mages aren't restricted from anything.
If you have keep permissions.
Keep permissions means that the red mage still can't get life.
Yeah,
but Bismarck is running a white mage, so he's not concerned about what the red mage can't learn too much.
Yeah, when keep permissions is turned on, the red mage takes quite a hit in terms of his power. He's never going to cast Nuke, he's never going to cast Fade. Those are the big deals that you're really going to miss out on, and so forth in life too, and then on and on. So key permissions is a big blow to the hat. All right, Bismarck's going to head south now. He's got his canoe, and he can check out a bunch of entrances here. He can poke his head into Ice Cave. He can try and clear out Volcano, whatever they are. And just to be clear, whatever is underneath that Ice Cave entrance should be tinted sort of gray and blue like the Ice Cave, and whatever is inside the volcano should be tinted red like the volcano to help us remember if we have to come back and so on. So that's what I was trying to explain earlier, that tinting to match the vanilla dungeon color. We've also got a bunch of new stuff in the tracker. We're going to be tracking all the key items, but a couple of the final endgame swords. We got the Katana, the Masamune, Excalibur, and of course the Vorpal Blade in there. So help us remember what good weapons we found for these fighters. Possibly ninjas, but I don't think we're going to see any of those tonight. Yeah, that provoke white magic is good stuff if you brought a white mage. And everybody but Will did, so they'll be happy to see it. Looks like Bismarck is going to do towns first, dungeons later, and has headed all the way to Crescent Lake. Hopefully to save his game and maybe grind some levels. He's encountered a bit of a nasty one here. Yeah, getting the canoe from Bicky is a nice bonus. The canoe is such a big deal early game. It opens up a ton of stuff. If you don't get the canoe early, you get the, say, the ship and the canal, you could be in for a long game hunting it down, because it could be in a lot of places after that. So finding it early at least streamlines things a little bit. And we forgot to look into the Brack magic. Yeah, we got the Brack magic at level 2 in Provoca, and also Lit 2. Bismarck takes his time poking around the Crescent Lake weapon shop. Nothing too exciting there either. Just looks like he's going to do a little pop grind.
Kind of what we see. These are the spells you want to see spells you don't want here, and there's a fire through you, but not too much that you miss, because you're not going to have very many charges of level 6 spells.
And I'm going to pop over to...
I definitely said Brack.
Yeah, the Brack magic. Oh, the floater. That's lovely. That is lovely and terrifying.
This is wide open. I hope you have your notebooks out, because we're going to start seeing a lot of places very quickly.
And this is completely paralyzing now. You've basically got a traveling salesman problem, which is like a problem in computer science. How do you drive around the world in the shortest amount of time? Because you can hit every single entrance. You basically have no idea what's anywhere. The only thing we really got to work with is that the crown is in Corneria for 16 grand if we want to go back and buy it, because we find the Northwest Castle. Or is a complete mystery.
Other decisions. So Tristal's grinding it Peninsula of Power. You mentioned Pop earlier. That's Peninsula of Power. It's the little area that a lot of people know from the vanilla game. At the tip of this, where you're actually the encounter zone from the North Continent bleeds down. It's a very good place to AoE things down. Probably looking for Zombol specifically, because he can use that harm staff. The harmer. The harm hammer.
Yeah, the harmer. I like it. See, this is... Now, just to call your attention up to Will's screen here, we got a bit of a trick where he's decided to poke the ice cave, and now he's being tempted by a floor of the sea shrine that is the Sharknado floor with tons of chests and unrunnable Wissahags. He could waste a ton of time in here. Bismarck made the wise old play of ducking down to Crescent Lake to get the extra guaranteed incentivized item from the canoe sage, and now he's got the world as his oyster. He can cruise around and get all the easiest stuff from wherever is available. Well, Will might get stuck and lose a lot of time in here. So that's my prediction.
He's peeking at some treasure chests.
Another
I haven't
lock
seen anything especially exciting yet.
No, but most of them are pretty close to the door, so he can get in, get out. He's just hoping to avoid anybody dying.
He's just hoping to get out with that money he just found.
Yeah.
So he might probably be able to do some shopping at Crescent that Bismarck didn't have the money for.
This is true.
Or Elfland, for that matter.
Speaking of Elfland, we got level 4 Nuke and Warp. Neither one of those is super exciting because you need class promotion.
Ooh, it looks like Bismarck, Will Cleosis found Astos's Astos castle.
And he actually
is fighting Astos.
He actually had the money for the crown and bought it. So that bit of foresight has paid off, saved him some time here. Now all he has to do is find Batoya's cave and find Elfland Castle, and then find all the key lock rooms, and we'll be laughing.
Nice pile of XP from Astos too. The question is, can he get out alive?
It's gonna be a bit of a jaunt.
Oh, that's a long string without any encounters. Nice.
Well done on the hero run. He's gonna be a happy camper now.
Well,
now is he gonna
trying to watch his airship now?
Oh boy, get your sketchbooks out. I'm not even gonna try, but
oh, I'm writing things down.
Attaboy.
Looks like he's just going to the Peninsula Power after shopping in Elfland. So doing the same thing that Tristal's up to.
Yeah, this is some old habits right here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Peninsula of Power, but I mean, there are a lot of great grinding places that could be lurking just about anywhere. Are you saving enough?
A lot of them are indoors, and you don't know where those are. So taking the one that you know is there, is certainly a way to go about it.
Indeed. And as it turns out, it looks like these giants are kind of softies, so this looks like it's going to work. Does he still have that Harm 4 hammer? Did he ever get that Harm 4 hammer?
I think so.
Alright.
Fire 2 does a perfectly good job against Zombols as well. It looks like we got Titan's Cave in the volcano.
Yeah. So, since we know we've got the canoe and floater, the other side of the Titan's Cave is not super exciting. It is possible for the Titan's Cave to take you, say,
the other side, yeah, that can go somewhere important, actually. It might be exciting.
It could be, but with the floater that we know we can get, we can probably get to the other side of it even easier.
Can't that be another dungeon, though? Or is it always going to be an exit?
It's going to be another overworld exit because of how the game works. Yeah, so it's got to take you out somewhere on the overworld. Are we getting game audio on Twitch? Is that just broken for me? I'm just throwing that out there.
I think it's just you.
I guess it is. Well, I'll just use my imagination.
So we see a lot of Peninsula power grinding right now. There's the Harm 4 hammer again, and the Fog 2 staff as well. Looks like Cleosis is going to pick up some houses, likely to enable some more grinding. But given their early game power levels and the openness of this seed, you definitely have to stop and grind before you can really get too adventurous here.
Yeah, everyone seems to be doing a little bit of grinding, which is it's smart because
oh wow, purchasable Aegis shield in Crescent Lake. I missed that earlier. The shop shuffles now allow for total on what's from the original game in the shops. You can have just about anything in the shops.
Yeah, that's
Vorpal was also for
correct.
sale in Alpha, and thanks for catching that for us.
And the only exception to that is that if that flag is enabled, which is pretty wacky, the any incentivized gear that you check off as being an incentivized piece of gear will not appear in a shop. So if you incentivize the Mass Moon and a ribbon, you won't be able to buy them. But if you don't, you might. And that's just to keep the incentivization at least somewhat special.
Looks like we found the other side of the other side of Titans was in Marsh Cave, and Earth Cave is the castle or the Temple Ordeals.
And the Dwarf Cave was tinted green, which could be Elfland Castle. Will loses a Black Mage, which is always inconvenient when you don't have life.
These
Ooh,
trolls have Rub. That's pretty mean. And Blaze. Ouch!
It's
That's
not
a
looking
wipe.
good for that. Yeah.
Well, Cleosis is going to finally go pick up his airship.
Yeah. Say goodbye to those trolls.
Rainbow Poogle is casually just murdering zombies.
Yeah,
Looks like she's picked up quite a few levels here.
Right. Will's going to poke into Elflane. He's going to find a bunch of magic that he'll look forward to, but not a bunch of magic he's going to be able to use today. Oh, excuse me. There's also Lit 3 and Fast. It's level 3. I didn't even catch that the first time around. So
oh, yeah, I saw somebody casting Lit 3 against those things. Oh, there's Ice Cave in Titans. Titan's right side is up. Left side is part of Sea Shrine.
Yeah, the beginning of Ice Cave. So I should point out, of the dungeons are not randomized. So the entirety of
we'll call it Ice 1.
Intact, because it would be pretty silly if a random entrance went right to Chaos's floor. And also the bottom half of the Ice Cave. Everything from the room with the pit that you fall into to work your way back to the other room that has the pit.
That's the part of the Ice Cave you're really looking for.
Yeah, that whole Ice Cave pit area is kept intact.
Bismarck found the level 2 of Volcano, which has the Volcano Treasury, which is a really nice find. That's a lot of chests there.
Yeah.
It's like he found an ice sword and some... Not much else so far.
No, but even the ice sword's...
Ice sword is a nice find. He stopped to equip that one.
I'll put that to good use.
I think this was Sardia's cave here.
Yeah. Will stares longingly at the $12,000 gold bracelets. And he's found Bahamut inside Elfland Castle. But he doesn't have the tail. Nor does anybody else.
And Dwarf Cave.
Yes, the Dwarf Cave was inside the Northwest Castle, so it's tinted sage green. There are some new palettes that I added specifically to give unique palettes for different entrances. A sage green for the Northwest Castle because it's close to the Marsh Cave and it's similar to the Marsh Cave green. And
Fair.
then, and then another shade of green for Elfland Castle and purple for the elves for no real reason. Yeah, there's Sarda's. Sarda's got that unique sort of off yellow that is Volcano 2, the armory floor.
Looks like Wilcleosis and Bismarck have a bit of a high five here, both checking this Fire Elemental guarded chest.
Yeah, with the airship and knowledge of Bahamut's location and warp just waiting for you at level 4, you would love to find the tail now. That would be a keen, smart pickup. Of course, we have absolutely no idea where it is, but I'm just pointing out that that would be a good one to find. One of the things we had talked about was making it so all the other sages, besides the canoe sage, give you at least some kind of bizarre hint about where things are to give you an idea of what you want to go look for. But we haven't got around to doing that yet, but I think it might be interesting.
Tristal's attempting to make that dive into Ice Cave to get the, and he'll see Astos there once he makes it through. Did he buy the crown? Do you need to buy the crown? Looks like he did buy the crown.
Yeah, you're gonna need the key. It looks like the fetch quests are vanilla because Astos gave us the crystal.
So finding Astos will eventually lead them to the key once they figure out all the where all of the parts of that fetch quest are.
This is correct. Yes. I mean, you don't have to shuffle all the fetch
Somebody
quests.
asks, is like, you'd like the tail even with the Force Black Belt? It's like, well, yeah, you're nerfing your Black Belt's magic defense growth. On the other hand, getting access to the warp can be huge for time saves. I would say it's definitely, like, for example, we see Rainbow Poogle just running with the dead Black Belt a lot up here. So she's probably just going to favor running with her mages and fighter, and definitely would just immediately class change and rely on the fighter for physical damage. We might see some divergences there as far as what to do with the tail if they find it. Yeah, EXPs are a little dangerous here.
And yeah, that is a fine question. The Force Black Belt always does mean maybe a later promotion, but entrance shuffle can be awful, and you don't know if you're going to have a dungeon that's like 10 floors deep with a dead end at the bottom, and you know, a few charges of warp could be the difference between wiping there and losing a lot of time or getting out scot-free. So
I think I like it as well, wherever it is.
Oh, yeah, wherever exactly. Will stepping up his red mage from the silver bracelet to the silver armor.
Did we see what was downstairs in that volcano?
Below the armory floor?
Yeah.
If somebody did, I missed it.
Is that Earth? Is that where this Earth 4 is?
It may well be. And this is where you start to get really nervous as a floor shuffle player. And what happened to me while developing, you don't know if, like, Lich isn't going to be the next staircase. Every extra floor you go down is one more floor you might have to go back up.
Bismarck is in Cardia, thank you. So Cardia is this Earth 4 with the treasures.
Yeah, it checks out because Cardia floors.
Cardia has this
teal sort of color.
Sea teal.
Whatever
dragon
it is.
armor. That'll be nice if they find the tail.
Crystal picking up his floater.
Bismarck doesn't even have a fighter, so never mind.
Yeah, Crystal might be thinking, other people probably got that floater before me, But since no one knows where anything is, it's...
Yeah, Tristal spent all that time leveling. Yeah. I don't think he's too worried about being behind because
there is no
leveling time is going to have to. Leveling time is going to have to happen at some point. So it's not like he was losing time by spending it inefficiently.
Absolutely,
he just was doing something different.
Yeah, that's a solid observation. And
the same thing is true with Poogle.
Previous point, the Ordeal's castle is also not shuffled, except within itself, of course. So you're not going to end up.
We'll see what's here.
Yeah. It is possible the Castle Ordeals has a few different forks in it. So one of the things we were doing was going to leverage all the little individual forks in the road in Castle Ordeals to make forks in the road all over.
All the way back to the start by that pillar.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
And decides to just reset out of it. I don't know if that's actually favorable for the RNG table. Does that still work the same way, the RNG table?
If we're talking about the encounter RNG table?
Yes, the encounter table.
Yeah, that bad boy hasn't been changed. You can still manipulate it the two ways with the soft reset and the hard reset, where a soft reset will skip your battle, of course, that you're in, but it'll leave you in the same place in the table, and a hard reset will set you back to the beginning, so you'll get as many steps as you did before your first encounter of the game.
Yeah, Rainbow Poogle is now she's finally stopped grinding, but looks like she's in the late teens or so with her levels. So it looks like she was just making a time investment and is looking forward to not having any troubles doing deep dives into dungeons later. Also, we'll have plenty of cash to spend in these magic shops. A nuke shirt. Wow, that sounds busted.
It's a nuke hat.
A nuke hat, okay.
You gotta be careful. It can be very warm, depending on the weather. Yeah, that's gonna be, that hat is lit. And actually it's nuke. But that thing is obviously gonna burn a hole through the rest of this game. So that's a nice find for Bismarck. One of the things that we added, of course, was item magic shuffle, which is another wacky, semi-broken feature that is turned on for this race for the thrill of it, but probably does not really belong.
Ooh, Will Cleosis takes a wipe to mummies with that blaze.
Probably doesn't belong in serious competition, because you're going to see a lot of that.
Who did roll this? Wait, was that you, Zardia? Will Cleosis just throws in the towel for that Temple Ordeals with the blaze mummies.
That is a nuke shirt. Why did I think it was a nuke hat?
Oh well, it is a nuke hat. Or a nuke shirt. Okay.
My bad.
I trusted you. I trusted you.
You barely know me. And underneath the ice cave is a waterfall, so I guess as you go down, the temperature increases a little bit.
Well, I mean, the volcano is in that region.
It's warm enough. It's like Iceland, you know, it's like an underground spring. Beautiful location.
So this will have a guaranteed key item. That's nice to have.
Bismarck finds the big money floor of the Sky Palace. A lot of treasure boxes on this one. A lot of pretty hard enemies, too. That nuke shirt is going to see... It's going to be threadbare by the end of this quest, I'm telling you that.
That white mage has one job. It's not to cast white magic spells.
No, I would be... Well, it's white mage does. You hand the shirt off to somebody else, but... It's a temporary job. Google's doing some window shopping in the Crescent Lake magic shops before she gets her hands on the floater, and I'm gonna say makes a beeline for the desert. Bismarck finds the rod. You're asking, needs that to get to the Lich? Well, he actually needs to get to that to get to whatever is past the vampire.
It's whatever's behind the vampire.
Yeah.
Which could be important. Oh, there's Out of Bounds Bat. Hello, Out of Bounds Bat.
It's good to see him after a length of time. He's been on hiatus for a while. Crystal's going to bust into that Titan's West Sea Shrine floor. See what's below that. And it's
ice 2.
Yeah. This could go anywhere.
Ooh,
Marsh Top.
North.
Yeah. And you'll see how the palette here doesn't quite match, and that's because this section of marsh shares a palette with another section of marsh, which is bigger, and it's the big part
marsh.
Okay. The big part of the second floor with the rope ladder. And
which you can infer that that's somewhere that has that tealish color.
You can indeed, and that is some advanced level inference right there.
We have a vanilla cube. Is this even randomized?
I mean, the fact that it was underneath the ice cave, which was entered from Titan's East, should be enough to say confidently that yes, it was damn well randomized.
Noting that the cube doesn't have anything to do with Floating Castle, it merely gets you to whatever place is behind that blue dragon in wherever that place in the top of Marsh is. So
exactly.
The cube might not do anything, but
it might just take you to one of the empty cardio rooms.
It looks like Wilcliosis is having a bit of a trouble against these Whiz Mummy and Jerkbirds.
It's going to thin the herd a bit, but it's not looking good here.
Not looking good at all.
Can you get up another one?
Nope.
No. And that's a sad panda face for Will. He's going to try his luck on the other Titan's entrance.
But he knows what's there, and he can always come back there if the cube turns out to be important. Knowledge in this is frequently as important as the actual stuff.
Yeah, I could see this format making for like a great sort of co-op race where two people were forced to race it, in teams of 2, and they're allowed to team chat with their teammate or something like that. You could get some pretty crazy stuff where you explore different places.
Yeah, communication would be really tricky, but beneficial.
Yeah, I could
tricky
see
that tricky to get right. And we have Bismarck found underneath that. Oh shoot, where was he? It was underneath the Sky Castle 3, which is a Cardia, and you can tell it's Cardia because it's this teal color. And then under that, he found the middle floor of the Sea Shrine, which has 2 options to go to, which is particularly interesting. That's a little
Here's one of
a bug.
Yeah,
That's
our best known visual glitch right now. And if you take a staircase from someplace that's inside of a room to someplace that's outside of a room, or vice versa, it will think that the reverse is true until you go through a doorway. It's just a visual thing where NPCs will disappear and the backgrounds will be dim or bright, or you'll appear above the roof of a room. And I swear I'm going to get around to fixing it when I can, but since it doesn't affect anything, it's taking a backseat to just trying to get the feature working. As you can see, we're pretty early days in the floor shuffle, but it has proven to be very compelling, so I'm happy to open the doors and share it, and,
It's interesting. This is also one of the few times you're actually going to bother checking these weird out-of-the-way chests in the middle of Marsh South, because normally they mirror chests at Marsh North, but we don't know, or he doesn't know where that is.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the chests.
We've seen it. It was, I believe, connected to Titan.
Bismarck stuck on a bat. I don't know if he knows. There he goes. Key. That should clue him in. You got to go with the other door, Will, and you got to let the bat fly away. There you go.
The bats can't move when you're inside a room.
No. That's not my bug. That's a vanilla bug.
That is, in fact, the vanilla bug. It's pretty rare, but it happens. So here's the infinite floor.
Yeah, now, did they shuffle the teleporter locations or not? It doesn't look like it. So he makes a beeline for the stairs up, and we don't know where this is going to go. And, we saw the Wandering Warmack down there. I wonder if Bismarck was... that's a new feature just added to the beta site. A Warmack NPC marauding around.
Oh, interesting. Oh, this is Elf Castle.
Yeah, you can talk to him if you want to engage in a fight to your death.
So, buried deep in Cardia is sky into marsh, into more sky, into Elf Castle, which will have the Mystic Key. We know where Astos is, but we don't know where Matoya is.
Yeah. Will's the closest. He's got the crystal from Astos.
Crystal also has the crystal, but Will is in the Infinite Floor now. Has he? Or is that only Bismarck in the Infinite Floor? It's only Bismarck that's in the Infinite Floor.
I think so, yes. Alright. Is Will gonna head to Gaia and see what's for sale? Yeah, looks like. Once he figures out how to park. Parallel parking the airship can be very tricky.
Not even checking the magic shops here. Sometimes I like to see them, but depends on how much you like to level your mages. Dragon armor.
And chain armor. It's great.
Chain armor.
It's like, so what do you got, shopkeep? Well, I got this old junk for 20 bucks, or this whatever for like 27,655. You got anything else in there? No, sir. A hat. And Poogle finds the kindly old king and turns in his crown, only to be ambushed by this interloper Astos. So she'll get the crystal too, and the only person who actually knows where the Elf King is, pardon me, the Elf Prince, is Bismarck, and he didn't have the crystal. It's beautiful.
Looks like Poogle's committed to this 3-person party, though. That's always a good strategy, or at least it's a strategy to attempt when the XP is low. You've got some decent mages, and she's just chosen. It's like, I'm not going to level the black belt at all. I'm just going to funnel all of that XP into these other characters.
Google enters the volcano and quickly exits. Crystal goes from one Florida volcano to another, but he's actually somewhere in Cardia.
Well, Cleosis is trying to loot the rest of this Sky Castle area out.
Crystal's found the less than greater than chest, on Mirage 2, and that's good money, so he's gonna see what he's got there.
Yep. Chimeras are also a good bit of XP. Does he have... Oh, that's a Masamune that he found. Thank you, Tracker. I didn't see that part. I didn't see where he got that Masamune, but...
Left side is
other...
a whole lot.
Ooh, a ribbon. Crystal gets a ribbon. That's a key piece of equipment. It gives you resistance to all types of magical attacks, which includes most status and instant death effects, except for Death Touch, and elemental damage as well. So slaps that on the white mage so that she can live through, to res other people.
Yeah, Ribbon goes on whoever's got life, and if no one's got life, Ribbon goes on probably your fighter to try to drag your party out of there alive. Most survivable character after that, I would say. Bismarck polishes off Skyfloor from Cardia, some chests. No one has found a fiend yet, so no one truly has a lead. And there's another ribbon.
This is the tiny island in Cardia, and it is loaded. That's 2 ribbons. And also, we might see some Agama grinding.
Yeah, he's going to want to get out of here alive, and if grinding a few levels is what it takes to do that, I can see that for sure.
With 2 ribbons, I'm not too worried anymore about staying alive. He picked up some levels earlier at the Peninsula Power. He should be fine on the staying alive part. Now it's just a matter of like how much time does he want to invest into getting characters beefed up for the end game.
Yeah, I guess when I say staying alive, I mean it really depends on what's next, right? Like if he ends up on Tiamat floor or something, and he doesn't want to run out of here, he might have to grind a bit more before he takes on Tiamat. He does have a lot of good stuff, though, like the ribbons, Massa. So it depends if he likes his chances. Bismarck's going to stock up on heals in Gaia. Rainbow Poogle finds the first floor of Bahamut's cave, but it's not going to lead to Bahamut. It's actually going to take her to an empty cardio aisle.
It took her to some dragons and all. That's actually another instance of that. Sharing palettes.
Yeah. All the other cardio floors are on one map, so they have to share a palette.
Crystal is deep in the volcano here, and now is in the sea shrine.
But he's actually in Cardia. He is really hoping to find a fiend here, just I think to get the free exit, because behind every fiend is a warp back to the surface, and that would be nice for him to lock in everything he's done so far.
This is the floor just before the mermaids. There's only 4 chests here, and one of them is known as TFC, that friendly chest, which he doesn't have a key for. It's locked, and it could be important.
Absolutely. It could be anything. And he doesn't have the key. If it is important, he's going to have to come back for it, so he's going to have to make a mental note on that one. And
it's not very, I think with the incentives, it's not very likely to be important at this point.
That's true. But he is going to check the other chests, because you just
somebody
never know.
Somebody picked up the bottle, and I didn't see where that was.
Melee Wizard says, where the heck was the bottle? Melee, I thought you were our tracker.
There's the loot in Sky 2.
Yeah, that's the incentivized chest in Sky that normally carries the adamant.
I wasn't aware about that incentivized location. So the southwest location there is the adamant and is incentivized. Is that friendly chest incentivized?
Tonight we've got Sky Castle chest, Volcano Red D chest, and the Marsh Cave Wizard chest. When incentivizing the Sea Shrine, it's actually the slab chest in Mermaids that becomes the incentivized chest, not that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was just like too trolly to even be fun, so that's why we didn't make it an option. It was attempted, but it doesn't work. Just wastes time, really.
That's fair.
Sadly. Yeah.
This floor takes a long time to clear out, though.
Yeah, and you gotta do it because heaven only knows what's there, right? It could have been anything, as we say. So now he's gonna go down one more, and he's gonna get to the Marsh Cave B1, which is, of course, a fork in the road. The bottom half of that fork is an in-room ladder, which I talked about before, so it's gonna show the palette glitch in the room he enters from there, but he'll probably do the top exit first because it's closer. Oh, we've got a mage with cremate. Not doing nice things to Poogle. Just one of them, though, and
yeah,
she's got
it's just
plenty of
one.
levels now.
She's got, yeah, she took the most time out of anyone gaining levels, so her mages are just living through that just fine.
Crystal hits the classic unrunnable gaggle of Sahags.
The only unrunnable encounter that doesn't get shuffled, because it's actually shared with iron golems in the bottom of Temple of Fiends.
That's half true. It's the only one that's not shuffled because it shares with one of the bosses.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Iron Golem still gets no love. Darn.
Why would anyone give love to Iron Golems? They're soulless abomination. Alright, Kugel finds Ice 1 underneath Titan's East, which we know leads to Waterfall, which we know leads to Cube, if I recall correctly. Boy, I'm really testing my memory here.
Waterfall, yeah, Waterfall has the cube. I had to check my notes.
I'm glad you're making notes.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I hope our players are too.
Cardia. Oh, there's Adamant from the Cardia Islands.
Yeah, Will's got a fighter.
Not a tail, though.
So he's no tail. And we do know where the dwarf cave is. I believe it was Sage Green of Elfin.
Gotten out of this explore everything in Cardia Isles?
I mean, how could you? Tristal's just found now that this continues on to the Earth Cave. Like, this is the deepest, dankest, darkest dungeon I think I've ever seen in this game.
It seems like it's going to be pretty common in entrance rando that Cardia Isles, because it has so many entrances, it's going to take a while to clear out. Yeah,
that's a fact.
Looks like Bismarck is finally wandering. Oh, actually, it looks like Bismarck is spending some time with some. He's having a nice summer cookout with some steak.
It's beautiful, really.
Just got level 21.
Even Light Warriors got to relax and unwind, you know, on a beautiful summer's day. We are celebrating spring tournament. X for staff for Tristal. X for is a bit of an enigmatic spell that removes enemy elemental resistances.
Have you fixed it yet?
Oh yes, it didn't work in vanilla, and we've patched it so it does now work. So you can even X for Chaos. It has the highest accuracy, I think, of any spell. So it has about a 20% chance of working even on Chaos. And it will increase your chances of bracking and instant killing Chaos from, 3 in 256 to about 6%. And it's been done. So it's a curiosity.
That is interesting.
Yeah. It's far more dangerous when enemies cast it on you.
Oh, I believe it. Just take out that ribbon.
Yeah, gone. Like it wasn't even there. And then all of a sudden, crack, and everyone's dead. Rainbow finds her cube. Question from chat. Where was that nuke shirt? Answer, I'm not sure. Bismarck's got it and he's been burning holes in it, using it on everything.
My question is, who can equip it?
And it looks like Will is about to get out too. Oh, Bismarck has got an orb lit too, according to our tracker. Boy, are we ever on our game. Will's about to defeat Carrie if he plays his cards right here. Bismarck has found
this is in the, I think it's in the left side of Cardia is where Will is. Deep in left side Cardia.
The grassy island? And
yes.
Tristal at the bottom of one thing finally finds Sarda.
And what was that kid?
Of course, I didn't catch that. Nearly
Hopefully
that.
our tracker did.
Yeah. Come on, Melee. The king gave Massa, and Sarda just dished out a heal 2 gauntlet, which is the incentivized Zeus gauntlet shuffle
so
to cast.
We have our first fire orb. Oh, that was the forest isle, not the grassy isle.
Okay. So Will's got the fire orb lit, and our tracker says Bismarck's got an orb lit too.
Oh, he found Lich. Right, we saw that earlier, and I remember seeing that.
Yes, I too remember seeing that. Heal 2 gauntlet. Pretty good piece of gear. The only thing better would be a heal 3 or a cure 4 gauntlet.
Bismarck
The developer
found their way up through the Bridge of Destiny, so we're about to see a team-up fight. That was a pretty quick find after that.
Yeah, they can't all be
Templar deals.
Yeah, They can't all be giant dungeons. If all of the floors get shuffled into one, that means some of the other ones are going to be pretty shallow. We're contemplating a feature to sort of balance that so that the depths remain relatively consistent. King's dishing out mass moons, which is nice. Unfortunately for Will, he hadn't defeated Garland and rescued Sarah, so he's not going to get her item. Tristel did do that, I believe. So when he finds Corneria Castle, he'll get both items.
That required a mad dash through past those ghosts in the kind of that short sea shrine floor.
Yes, that's correct. Corneria Castle entrance.
Corneria Castle entrance.
That's one of those things where since it happened right off the bat, you can easily forget about that. Now, if you're note-taking, it's going to be the first note you take. Are you going to remember to check it? Or is it going to fall by the wayside? Bismarck taking on Tiamat now. He's got his nuke shirt. He's got a good set of equipment. He's
setting up some tempers on his black belt as well.
Yeah. Temper stacks with itself over and over and over. It can buff your attack power way up.
That's a big strategy in in the original Final Fantasy 1. It's glitched and doesn't add the correct thing. In all of the remakes of Final Fantasy 1 and the Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, temper is fixed, and in all of them it adds 14 attack power, just flat, stacks as many times as you like. Although if you stack it far enough, it is possible to overflow the internal value. So I haven't ever seen that happen, but it's possible.
A part of me, and this is before my time, the temper fix actually in FFR, a part of me thinks that is capped correctly, but I could be corrected on that. I don't actually know.
I have seen a black belt punch for 10k.
Yeah, you can do some insane damage. There's no doubt about it. I don't think it overflows because I don't recall ever seeing it.
It might be the accuracy from Saber could potentially overflow, but might have been fixed.
Will's got a ribbon he's fun to equip there. Yeah, good thinking, Will. See, he doesn't have life. So this is the place with two. There's actually going to be another ribbon once he goes up these stairs. He's going to be happy to find that. Up these stairs, down into the volcano. He is now in the giant dungeon that has Sarda in it, among other things.
He also has the chime, so at some point he'll get over to that Mirage Tower.
Bismarck had the bottle, picked up his Oxy Ale. Haha! Look at that. Goes to Onrak, gets past the sub-engineer. The Oxy Ale only gave access. That's all you needed it for. But he's found the tail, and that's going to let him cast.
That is an auspicious mini dungeon there.
Beautiful little thing.
All it is just the tail, but that's a nice thing to have.
Some might say that those were lazy dragons keeping the tail in Cardia, but I don't think Bismarck will feel that way. And he looks like he's going to make a beeline to go get himself some warp and some...
The incentivized red dragon chest, by the way, had TNT.
Yes, well...
Crystal works his way over to Carrie.
Yeah, they can't all be winners. So Carrie was at the bottom of this mega dungeon, or are we someplace else now?
Carrie was at the bottom of the mega dungeon.
Okay, not the Sarda on one side, Carrie on the other. Yeah. So if we're going to do a bit of a recap, there's... Okay, I hope that Desert Princess quite bright low for the date. And it looks like right off the bat we got a pretty early canoe from Vicky, and then a nice and early floater from the canoe stage. We didn't shuffle the towns, so those were in Provoca and Crescent Lake respectively. And then the world opened right up, and after scouring here and there and everywhere, we found some big dungeons in Cardia.
Mostly just scouring Cardia.
Yeah.
There's so many places to go in Cardia that it's chock full of goodies. It has both the earth and fire and wind orbs, as we've seen.
A couple of ribbons.
Various parts of Cardia Isle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 5 Cardia entrances plus Bahamut's cave entrance. which for variety's sake I tinted the same slightly darker blue that the waterfall gives you, just because, you know, 6 things all tinted the same shade of teal was kind of lame.
Oh, wind was in waterfall. I missed that. Sorry. Thank you. But waterfall is in waterfall was in Cardia.
No, not the actual waterfall. She means
Melee
means the waterfall entrance.
Melee means that the
Yes.
the waterfall cave has Tiamat in it.
That's right.
Bismarck picks up Ruse on his Red Wizard. That is a good call, because Ruse is an incredibly powerful defensive spell that you can only cast on yourself. But Red Wizard can learn it after class change. It increases your evade by, I believe, 40 points, which is about 20% per cast, and it stacks with itself. So after a couple casts, you just stop taking hits.
Yeah, it's double the efficacy of Invis 2, which is frequently cast by white mages and red mages alike when it's shuffled down. And in the vanilla game, Invis 2 can also be cast by the white shirt, but with item magic shuffling, there's no guarantees of that. And with keep permissions on, Invis 2 becomes a pretty exclusive spell. So
yeah,
getting
Triskel did light his fire orb for Melee Wizard. And it looks like Rainbow Poogle's about to pick up their Ruby. For Ruby. Oh no, that wasn't an incentivized location. Never mind.
Water's pointing out in chat, those wizards look sick, to which I say, this guy are sick.
Ruby, hey, we do know where that the Titan's Trove is. Maybe it has something important.
Tristel hits up the incentivized chest that he knew was there, picks up his loot.
The loot.
He'll be happy to see that. He forgot it fairly recently, and he wasn't pleased with himself. So to grab it now.
Oh, okay. Just behind that is where that Earth Cave is, or the Earth Fiend is.
Bismarck picking up all the goodies. In Melbourne, he gets exit at level 5 for his white wizard. He's gonna pick up XXXX.
No,
Temper was there too.
Can't pick up X. Oh, he can pick up XXXX. He's a black mage. And he picks up Temper on both. There is so much to keep track of here.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've got it all in my head. Maybe not. Rainbow validates her seed, feeds the Titan, but not only that, because the Titan's Trove flag is checked off, that Titan was blocking this. So the only way you can get these 4 chests is by feeding him. And there's a pro ring in there. We haven't seen them for sale. Yeah, I don't think they're for sale at all.
I haven't seen them.
Shuffled shops. So that's a fine item to find. Anyone can equip it, and it gives you 8 absorb and death elemental resistance. So normally it's a rather mundane thing, but when Shop Shuffle dictates that you can't buy them, all of a sudden there's, I think, only 2 to find. So it's an okay item.
She drops it on her white mage, and then she thinks about which way out she wants to go. Just wants to see what's on the other side of Titan's Trove.
Yeah, she's got the airship, so this is just saving her visiting Marsh Cave now that she knows that it's just going to lead back in there.
Here's that unrunnable ogre.
Bismarck finds his mermaids. Let me clean them out.
Hello, ladies.
Google's gonna pop in to visit the dwarves.
Still no sight of Matoya.
Alright, so we've seen most of the overworld entrances. Has anyone been to Lefane? Because
Lefane is still a town, isn't it?
That's a good point, and Lefane's gonna be Lefane. Sorry, I'm
They have a couple we have a chime on Wolcleosis.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen anyone going to the Mirage Tower yet, I don't think. Bismarck finally picking up his garland.
Let's actually clear up the chests here. After clearing out Garland, you can go back and get the princess item. Have we seen what that was yet? Crystal's got the Mass Moon, so he... Oh no, the king gave the Mass Moon, right?
Oh, the king gave the Mass Moon, and the king gives it regardless of whether you've rescued the princess. I don't remember what else was there.
Yeah, it's sort of a good faith, rescue my daughter kind of thing.
It might have been the bottle.
Melee Wizard says
it wasn't the bottle.
The princess had the defense sword, but it was actually just the Viz sword, which is half the sword it usually is.
On the other hand, does it still have that attack power? Because it's a pretty decent weapon.
It does indeed, and as Boris the Blade says, if it doesn't work, you can always hit him with it. Poogle makes it to the carry floor, and she's got a moment's trepidation now before she decides to go for it. There's also the incentivized red dragon chest.
She might also have been writing down where it was.
Absolutely. You gotta build a map.
This is in the forest of Cardia, the forest island on Cardia.
Bismarck's looking for something early game. Goes back to Temple of Fiends only to realize it's a dead end.
Although Ice Cave will have that Astos in it, which he never picked up. So he'll finally get his crystal. Still haven't seen Matoya anywhere. I'm thinking Matoya is probably going to be in Mirage, because I don't think anyone's gone there.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone's been everywhere else. Have we been to Ordeals? Because that's the other place people often forget about. And Crystal finds...
Is that... I actually...
The Hall of Fame.
Well, is that the slab... Or is that the yellow box thing? Is that the chime? Or which,
Yeah, those are a bit blurry. That big yellow block. It's a dollop of honey poured straight out of a glass container. I am not completely sure what that is.
I can only read some of the words.
Now the airs have snorting, so I'm guessing that we got some smog here in
I guess
the
we
Sky
haven't
Palace.
seen the slab yet, unless that is the slab.
No, the slab I think is above and to the right of that.
Oh, okay. So we haven't seen the slab, so nobody can get to.
Nobody can get to Lefane.
We have Rainbow Poogle picking on Carrie. With her levels, this should be an easy fight. She's got a Mountain. She's got a lot of levels on her fighter.
And some
Yellow Blob is adamant. Okay.
Of course. The cheese. Thank you, Sardia. It gets down to second Fog 2, so like Invis 2, which boosts Evade, Fog 2 boosts Absorb by a significant amount, and it also stacks with itself and with Invis 2. Enough casts of that, and you can forget about physical attacks. The bottom damage is going to come to you from AoE magic spells, and neither of those can help you against them. The only thing that really does is levels and ribbons.
Alright, Bismarck picks up his crystal. Ooh. Poogle's having a tougher time. Oh, that's not the sword I thought it was. That's not the Masamune that she has, so this carry fight's a little longer than I expected.
I think it's a little longer than she wanted to. Putting the fighter to sleep is not good news.
Stacking up that absorb though, so Carrie's not going to be hitting very hard. 15 damage.
Yeah, fighter will be unkillable. Just has to rouse from his slumber and finish getting this job done. There we go. The good news about the Fiend fights is that they always cover exits back to the world map, and in the vanilla game, that's nice and all, because they are deep dungeons. But in
losing the red mage, not going to get any XP there.
Entrance shuffle, they can take you out many floors and really save you some time.
Carrie finally goes down. Crystal has 3 lit orbs now. Also has the crystal. We're still looking for that slab to get into what is likely Mirage Tower, which will have the Matoya's cave, I'm pretty certain, is there because that's the only place we haven't seen, and we haven't seen Matoya anywhere.
Rainbow Chick's another typically linked chest, but it was linked to something she hadn't been to yet, and it has a ribbon in it. That would be the ribbon chest on the, Volcano B3
Oh,
or 4.
nice. That's actually, that's something I
Not-
wouldn't have thought of to,
Not actually B3, it's the Agama floor, but I don't think she's been to that yet. So
she hasn't been the Agama floor yet. So she manages to sneak out a ribbon out of a chest from elsewhere. Bismarck is clearing out ordeals, as is Tristal.
We also haven't found Marsh Basement yet, right? Marsh B3, it has an incentive chest. Guarded by
That's probably
wizards.
where our slab... I bet that's where our slab is, then.
Indeed, it may be.
So I wonder where that is.
yeah, you and me both, and everyone playing the game. I'm just hoping it's someplace reachable. Fingers crossed.
Rainbow Poogle's heading into more islands in Cardia.
And Tristal beating up some zombie Ds. Have we found the bottom of ice either?
We have not found the bottom of ice.
There's a bunch of chests there as well.
Is it an incentivized location?
Not in tonight's seed, no.
Okay. Oh yes, incentive. So incentives basically mean that there's guaranteed to be a special item there, which can be either a required key item or something else from the incentivized list. Nuke is at level 5, I believe, but with keep spell permissions on, you still must be a upgraded Black Wizard to learn it. So even though it's at level 5, only Bismarck's Black Wizard has it. Because he's the only one with the tail, he's the only one who's upgraded his classes. Oh, sorry, level 4, not 5. Fade is the same way. Only Bismarck's White Wizard will be able to learn that. Because keep spell permissions means that even though the spell's level may be different, it still requires the same classes as the base game, as it would in the base game. So Bismarck finds that depressing dead end at the bottom of Sarda. And we have Rainbow Pool turning in her adamants to get an Excalibur. And also turning in the TNT to open the canal.
Building infrastructure, creating jobs.
Okay. Blowing up dwarves. Oh, it doesn't blow up the dwarf anymore.
Nah, he's cool now. We taught him how to, use a remote detonator.
Oh, okay. But yes, another interesting thing, we flew over the map. The canal now gets a bridge over it, because you may be required to walk across it.
It creates a lot more possibilities than worrying about somebody stranding themselves.
And Cleosis is in a new place. Oh no, this isn't new.
Are you sure this isn't new?
No, this is new. This is new. This is Earth 2.
Yeah.
We have an invisible bat as way.
Yeah, well, that's because he's in a room, though he's not in a room.
Ah.
There we go. Now it's fixed. And he also pulled up
armor. And a mute helmet.
Wooden stick. That's a real treasure. But this could be what the room we were looking for. Like, we're running out of places that they haven't been yet, and we're looking for a slab, and we're also looking for the bottom of the ice cave. Or Matoya, just straight up.
Looking for Matoya, looking for the slab, and looking for, we're also looking for, Kraken.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Matoya was down here. You could get that quest done, and then have Kraken behind the chime. That'd be a nice way for things to go.
Procape is nice.
Bismarck
Although, Wilcleosis doesn't opt to spend the inventory slot on that Procape.
So Bismarck, on the other hand, is in the bottom of ice. He just used the warp strat to check the unincentivized final chest of ice. Doesn't find anything on this floor, but there's still several more chests in the floor below, and in the one after that that leads out.
Matoya appears slab blocked, but I could be incorrect.
It's possible, but she could be through this very next staircase that Will's about to go to.
I believe this is, which place is that the Will's in? I don't recognize the background.
It's, Earth Cave B2, but it's in Cardia somewhere, I guess.
I thought we checked all of Cardia. I guess I was wrong.
Well, Will and Rainbow are late to the game.
I think this is Bahamut. I think this might be Bahamut's cave.
I thought Bahamut was totally in Elfland Castle.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then.
Well, we're about to find out. Maybe I'm just completely off my
it's the
rocker.
bottom of Marsh, and this is an incentivized location.
Aha! I'm not off my rocker. And everybody just must have missed this.
It's gonna be a long walk out with this, with whatever key it is here. There's the slab. Not even in the incentivized chest.
Fascinating. Now, my heart is already beating at a more normal speed now that the seat appears not to be soft lock.
There's another ribbon in the back of ice.
Everyone's having a great time watching the race. I'm calling it play-by-play. As we get to the end, I'm like, boy.
Rainbow Poogle is in the same place as well. Oh, it's the ship is the incentivized chest.
The ship in the box in the bottom of the deepest, dankest dungeon. But we do have the slab.
And Rainbow Poogle just grabs that slab and leaves.
From the other closer chest, because it's linked to that first one.
Doesn't even check the rest of the floor. I think she knows that that's the last key item in the incentive pool, is why she made that decision.
And I think it's a good one too, because Will didn't find a whole heck of a lot down there.
No one has bought a Vorpal. Well, I mean, the only person that can equip a Vorpal is Bismarck's party. And here we have... Oh, Bismarck finally found the Matoya's cave. Which was...
the other fork.
Oh, it's in the other fork in C. We didn't see this earlier because this led to, I think it was a fiend fight.
How curious, yes.
This is in Waterfall.
So there was even more in the Cardia Isles than we thought, because people weren't scouring of it. And it's so easy to get lost with the forks in the road and the fiend warps back to the beginning to completely forget.
Yep. So, I would say that this actually puts Bismarck roughly on par with with Tristal in that he's found as many important things.
Yeah, Tristal's about to get a slap though.
Had him on the fire crystal. Oh, you're right. Tristal is about to get the slab. So, and his ship.
Yeah, there's only a couple of forks, and it is just enough to completely blow your mind and make you forget about them, especially both if they're both in the same dungeon.
Let me think about which forks there are. So there's the one in Sea Shrine. There's the one in Marsh. What else has a fork?
Tartapan has joined us in chat, the architect of this madness. So if it doesn't work, it's at least mostly his fault.
So we talked about it a little bit earlier. The invisible bat happens because when the in/out of a room gets messed up. Oh, we have a Warmech fight. Forget about that.
Oh,
Bismarck just took out a Warmech. That's the sea Warmech that wanders around in the infinite floor of Sky. And then he picks up his black belt, but doesn't heal him. And he dies again.
Yeah. I was kind of curious.
I mean, I guess you're nuking white mage and you're Masamune wielding red mage. You're like kind of more important than the black belt.
Kind of, but if you're gonna bring him back to 1, I mean, poor guy. It's like, oh, how you doing, man? Oh man, that was a rough fight. All right, let's move on.
And here's the Mystic Key pickup. This is critical. Although it could lead Bismarck down a rabbit hole as well.
Yeah. You, of course, need the Mystic Key for Topher, but to the best of our knowledge, there's no incentivized key lock chests in this seed, so it could just be a bunch of trash. All of these chests. Or there could be a ribbon. I think we've only seen 2 of them.
We've seen 3. There was also a ribbon in, shoot, what was the 3rd one?
Don't say the link chest that Rainbow Poogle picked up.
No, not the linked one that Rainbow Poogle picked up. Somebody else found one somewhere else. I want to say it was in Sea Shrine somewhere.
Alright.
But I don't know where that Sea Shrine was linked to.
I will trust you as you once trusted me. Will's gonna go rescue the princess, pick up his invis. Don't drop that, because you'll probably never find it again. And he's gonna... the Mystic Key. It's Bismarck that's got the Mystic Key.
Writing down which Cardi Island is which is really important in this.
If you're enjoying this race, and I hope you are, because I'm on the seat of my pants here. This is complete madness, and these runners are doing a pretty good job of making it look relatively easy. They've been following routes that are leading them to the next places they need to go admirably, and I'm having a great time here. You can give them a follow. They're all Twitch streamers: Rainbow Poogle, Will Cleosis, Tristal MTG, and Bismarck. And my co-commentator, who I'm working with for the first time, having a great night with Silverfire, also entered into the spring tournament. So good luck, Silver, and thanks for joining me tonight for commentary. And I am Nits__ on Twitch, and I often stream playing alpha testing of this game and just talk about bug fixing and coding in general. So that's what I like to do, and I hope you're having fun with us tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely see the when people get to a new place, they're clearly either writing something down or just taking a brief stock of what's going on, because there's frequently a pause there, just like, okay.
And there's the nuke shirt in it's Mirage 1.
Okay. We finally, that's the shirt that Bismarck has been using to power through this seed. Now Tristal has it.
Yeah.
They're definitely our front runners at this point, I would say.
Yeah, Bismarck.
They've got the orbs lit, they've got the key items, they've got nuke shirts.
Yeah, Bismarck's early finding of the nuke shirt has gave him that real bonus that has helped him. And he got his party promoted, so he's had access to other spells that no one else has had. So he's gotten a number of good moves that has kept him up with Tristal, who, despite not getting any of those things, is still...
Tristal's just been playing monstrously efficiently.
Yeah, that's to be expected. That's what he came here to do. And despite not getting some of those niceties that Bismarck has had, has still run a great race. Question from chat: Nuke shirt. Nuke shirt?
Yes, the nuke shirt. So one of the flags is a rather powerful flag. Is the randomized spell items. So the nuke shirt would have been either the black or the white shirt. I'm not even sure which. But which spells that items cast is completely random, and it will say on the label.
Yeah, it can even be single target spells. I don't know if we found one. Oh, we have like an invis sword.
We have the invis sword, which would be the defense sword.
Yeah. In the vanilla game, all of the caster items were AoE or caster. So you never had to target any of them. But we've done some extra work. A developer on the team made it so that they could be any spell, including single target ones like Xfer. So we have an Xfer staff as well.
There was an ice golem floating around somewhere, but I think it's been dropped.
Yeah.
Because that's just Ice 1.
Yeah. Nevertheless, the random item equipment flag is extremely rigged in that it can turn out things like nuke shirts, which of course are going to make the game way easier. I think to grease the wheels on our first floor shuffle seed, we've turned that on just to see what wackiness would happen. But it's not the kind of flag you're going to run for maybe a serious race, but for a fun romp like tonight.
Checking linked chests in Volcano, but I don't know if he knows which ones are linked to which, because he just picked up an empty chest.
Yeah, I certainly don't. That's not something anyone has really, like, you know what path takes you to cover all the chests, and then you're like, oh, there's linked chests here or there, I don't even know which ones they're linked to because I don't need to. And now, all of a sudden, with Floor Shuffle, that becomes useful knowledge. So people are going to have to go back to the books and learn all of those.
So it looks like, I think we have a clear frontrunner right now. Or no, we have a mixed situation. Tristal has 3 orbs and has the slab. And Bismarck has 3 orbs and has the mystic key. Ice Cave Exit, yeah, that's where the third one was. Thank you, Meridian. I missed it the first time. Or I talked about it the first time and then I forgot where it was.
You said it was in a place under a thing.
Yeah, it was the back of Ice Cave.
Yeah.
So this will be at least a valuable run through the back of Ice.
Yeah, Bismarck gets to the less than greater than, so he's going to get a ribbon, and if he keeps going, he's going to get another one. So he's going to be resplendent with ribbons in a minute.
We do not know where Kraken is. That is a great question. Where is Kraken? I was earlier saying that the only place that we hadn't seen was Mirage, but then I was proven incorrect. But I think now I'm actually correct that the only place we haven't seen is Mirage. Because I had apparently missed one of the Cardi Islands previously.
So did everybody else. I mean...
Actually, sorry, it wasn't even that I missed it. It's that there was the left branch on that middle of Sea Shrine floor where it branches left and right. Nobody checked left, which has Matoya's Cave. Bismarck is cube blocked in the... Oh, Bismarck is cube blocked in this, but there's nothing behind that cube. He doesn't know that, but there's nothing important back there. Looks like he's also cleaning up his inventory.
I don't think he's cube blocked because he's not on the cube.
Oh no, he's not cube blocked. Yeah. He doesn't have the cube, but the cube doesn't actually have anything.
Yeah. He's not even on the cube floor. He's going to head down into Volcano next and get another ribbon, if we're talking about Bismarck.
Yeah, this Mirage 2 does not lead to Mirage 3, because full floor shuffling is on.
So we know Tristal's not going to find much but another ribbon in ice, and Bismarck is going to work his way down.
He also has to do the double run through ice because unlike Bismarck, he didn't get to upgrade his classes, and with keep spell permissions on, that means that he doesn't have access to warp or exit.
It's a good observation, and he can't risk it, so he's going to have to drop down and get the chest.
So he's he's actually gotten that ribbon.
Yeah, he's already done that.
He just finally checked the silver dagger in the eye chest in ice.
The old dagger in the eye.
And then he checked it 3 times more because he was pissed at it.
Well, this is what happens when you don't have warp because you didn't find the tail and you didn't get promoted, so you played this much of the game without warp, and you're still in the lead. If you can find Kraken, which we do believe is holed up in the Mirage Tower, which he needs to.
He also still needs to find Matoya for that Mystic Key.
Oh yeah.
There's an opal bracelet though. That's a nice find.
It's only going to be. They could have been for sale because they're not incentivized, but we haven't seen them for sale. Ah, and he's got the rod.
There's the rod. We don't know if that's important yet.
No, well, you know, we're running out of dead ends.
We're running out of dead ends. So
it's
possible that Kraken. It's possible that Kraken is behind the vampire.
Absolutely. If there's only one entrance left and there's only one dead end left, then Kraken's got to be that dead end, and the vampire's got to be in there somewhere. Bismarck nuking Agamas, just like our forefathers once did. Cleaning out the big money floor.
Okay, there's a question in chat. Is the Mystic Key required? Yes, it is, because the Mystic Key unlocks the door behind Phantom when you're going through the final dungeon. So you must find the Mystic Key and the loot to get through the final dungeon.
Not only that, but it also unlocks like a dozen other doors in the final dungeon.
It unlocks.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
There actually, I believe, is an option to turn that off.
Yes.
And make the key not required now. That's a new option.
It warms my heart whenever my co-commentator mentions features that I've worked on. And yes, when I removed the lock on that first door and then play tested it, that the very next door was also locked, that I had to go on a spree. Apparently the level designer for this game basically locked every door after that one. Not sure why. Could have been intentional, could have been a mistake, could have been thematic.
Yeah, I guess that's a thematic choice. It seems too thorough to not be thematic at that point.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got this incentivized red dragon chest, which I think was the tail.
Yeah, if I could find the level designers for this game and ask them why they did that, I'm sure they'd say, Nitz, how do I know your name? Why are you in my house? And get out of my house.
TNT, sorry. It's the TNT. They would... Alright, so Wilcleosis has already killed Carrie, but he came back to check this, check the chests after killing Carrie. Got the TNT, which isn't very useful. Not taking the shortcut out, maybe because he's missed some other things?
He's going to burn off some encounters off the RNG table. But he's got to go all the way back out, playing it safe.
Maybe he just didn't realize that was an incentivized chest earlier, so he came back to get it. He has his slab now, so he's going to go turn that in and go into Vanilla Mirage, and we'll see what that is finally.
We will. First, we gotta get the herb from Matoya, return it to our humble.
Bismarck is at a fork in the road with the middle of marsh, and going to the top fork.
Yeah, that's the wrong choice. Well, Sarda only has a heal 2 staff, so it's fine. But
that's a good item. Let's be fair.
It totally is, and he's going to be, crap, what was the other way? Because he's going to get down to the Fiend and want to defeat the Fiend and then, warp back out, or whatever route it takes him, but curiosity may drive him to come all the way back down just to get the heal 2 staff. Maybe not necessary. So that's just a little unlucky. We'll see how it shakes out.
With our first chime pickup from Wilcleosis, I hope that he goes and uses it so that we can finally see what's there.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and you're saying, this is insane, can I play this? And I would say, if you're in the tournament, you do not want to play this in the meantime because it will just completely blow your mind and confuse you. But if you're not, or if you won't heed my advice and just want to give us a hand testing it and think this is too fun to pass up, this is available now at alpha.finalfantasyrandomizer.com.
Okay, there's a question, chat. With Oxyel, can Bismarck check the submarine? That does count as another entrance. We've seen it before. It didn't. have much.
Are you kidding? It's got the tail.
Oh wait, no, that's where the
tail.
It had a random Cardia Island dragon chill out location with the tail.
Yeah, and it was one of Bismarck's power plays early on that he found.
The puzzle behind the proof of your courage is that you could figure out how to get to that submarine so that you can find the dragon who's holding the tail. It's actually like they just set up a fetch quest for you. They didn't. It's not that they like lost the tail or something. They just hid it.
And Bismarck finds the vampire floor, also tinted blue.
And apparently we have Kraken. Mirage Tower goes straight to Kraken.
There you go. To challenge the beast with a billion backs.
And we have Rainbow Poogle who finds the vampire floor, but she doesn't have the rod.
Was it also in Cardia? It was just everything in Cardia today?
No, we had the waterfall has Tiamat, and obviously now we know that Mirage has Kraken. We also see Wilkleos is using an interesting strategy of putting his fighter in the back of the party. Mainly concerned because wow, that Kraken went down a lot easier than we expected, but when you're fighting an enemy like Kraken that has extremely powerful melee attacks, and you're relying on your fighter to kill it, you put your fighter in the back of the party because you just want your fighter to live as long as possible to dish out those Moss Immune powered melee attacks.
Yeah, in some Final Fantasies, back row enemies, or allies, pardon me, receive and do half damage with physical attacks or non-ranged attacks. The way it works in Final Fantasy 1 is that your top character receives 50% of single target attacks, and your second character gets a quarter, and the other two characters each receive an eighth of the attacks, but the damage is all the same no matter where you are. So it's just sort of a statistics thing to keep them alive longer by letting everyone else meet shield first.
Looks like Bismarck has also found the vampire floor. Unlike Rainbow Poogle, actually has the rod. We'll get to see what's behind here. Rainbow Poogle is walking out, which is not the friendliest place to walk out. Tristal is...
Alright, throw this one out to chat. Bismarck's going to tell us what's behind the vampire. Chat, what floor is behind the vampire? There are so few floors remaining. If you've got a good memory, you might be able to guess the exact one.
Tristal's checking some... Tristal's checking some locked chests in Temple of Fiends. And Wilkleosis is the first to down Kraken. But doesn't have the other orbs. And neither Bismarck nor Tristal have turned in their slag. Bismarck doesn't even have the slab, so we still have a bit of a ways before anybody finds their way into the Temple of Fiends Revisited or past Temple of Fiends.
Now we've got some guesses for Volcano Big Lava Floor. That is a good guess.
We have seen the Big Lava Floor.
All right.
So if you guess a floor that I remember we've seen, then you can have your guess back and make a different guess.
Or you could stick with it. You could be wrong.
Cleos is picking up the loot.
Tristal grabbing the chests in the Northwest Castle. We're not sure what it's northwest of, but it is what it is. Ah, Cardia. The Cardia up-down floor. There's also the Cardia left-right, and the Cardia upside-down. That's what I call them. That's what I started calling them right now.
Pretty disappointing. I've been... So wait, which one's the up-down floor?
That's that one. And then the side-to-side one is the one with two rooms side by side, and the upside-down one is the one where you enter at the top, loop around to the bottom, and go in through a couple of doors. And then there are two Cardia dead ends.
Okay. So Wilkleos is finally taken out Lich. Still has to make his way over to the waterfall to take out Tiamat.
Just cleaning out the key chests.
All right. So actually, let's take a quick recap to remind everyone where the important things are. So the Earth Cave is at Temple, or the Earth Fiend is at Temple Ordeals. The Fire Fiend is in the Big Forest Island in Cardia, the southern Cardia Island. The Water Fiend is in the Wind Fiend is in the Waterfall.
Crystal and Bismarck are high-fiving here in Cornelia Castle, as they're both going to go plunder its 6 chests. They find a pro cape, which at this point is mostly what they could hope for. There are so few remaining treasures. Now they both need to complete the slab. Oh, Bismarck doesn't even have the slab.
Yeah, Bismarck has to find that lower marsh cave to get the slab.
And it was behind a fork in the roads somewhere in Cardia. He unfortunately has just cleared a ton of Cardia and is liable to not check there again for a while, so he might be off the rails for a bit. So let's cross our fingers for Bismarck having a moment of clarity and remembering that fork.
Yeah, it looks like Tristel's intending to pick up his oxale and then maybe also turn in his slab to get his last 2 locked locations, the one in Onrak and the one in Mirage Tower. One of those is the Mirage Tower has Kraken, and once he gets that Kraken down, he will be ready to go into Temple of Fiends. But it looks like he's going to Onrak first, so he's hoping Kraken's here. It won't be. Although this does have the tail, so he might be happy to see that, even though it's not what he was hoping for. If he wrote down where Nuke was, then his Black Mage will be able to pick that up.
And Warp.
And Warp.
At this point, not nearly as useful. Yeah.
Started to outlive its usefulness at this point.
Warp's days are over.
Sarias are, in the vanilla game, they're just an overworld enemy. They're pretty great for XP, but they're kind of like a not well-known enemy that's just outdoors in and around the Ordeals area and Cardia Islands.
And they're a rare encounter too, so you could play the NES game.
They aren't super rare in the outdoor locations. They're not common, though. I don't think they're super rare, are they?
They're rare enough that I don't know if I knew they existed. Well,
I definitely remember. But
I mean, I wasn't a very prolific Final Fantasy 1 player in my childhood. Many times, but struggled with it. And look at me now.
It looks like Will Cleosis is leaning towards that waterfall, and he doesn't have his Mystic Key, but this will be his 4th orb. He still has to find Matoya's cave, which is behind the fork in the road in Sea Shrine, which Rainbow Poogle just found.
And she was fortunate she completed the Crown Quest up to this point. The Crown Quest becomes much more interesting when you don't know where the next piece of it is. So you can't just do it all in a hurry at the end.
Looks like she might have been checking her notes for what to do about that. Also gets the bottle is with Matoya.
Yeah.
I didn't see that earlier, that the bottle was with Matoya.
Yeah, that's
I knew that it was in this somewhere.
That's how Bismarck found Matoya so early that he was able to get the tail way ahead of anyone else.
Herb and bottle, yes. Matoya is a...
Matoya's smoking a bowl down there? No, I don't think so. She knows how to puff pass.
Yeah, she shared.
Absolutely. It's for the glaucoma. She is completely blind. Then I guess once you cure the blindness, no more need for the medicine. Alright, Crystal, doing a little bit of thinking. What to do, what to do. Ah, yes, the slab.
Is this about to engage Tiamat?
Gonna get that slab translated, so Crystal will be on the rails for a while he heads off to Lefane. Bismarck gets within a step of the Mirage Tower before he takes off, realizing he doesn't have the slab or the chime, and therefore cannot get in. And then he's thinking to himself...
Oh, but he knows where he hasn't gone, it seems? No, this isn't the right island.
No, not this one.
Bismarck is...
But he might remember the teal-colored sea shrine floor that he forgot to go the other path.
And he knows it's in Cardia, but that doesn't say a lot.
Yeah, Cardia's a big place. So Will's got his final warp lit, and he's got a loot. But he's got no Mystic Key. He hasn't finished the Mystic Key quest
He has not found that, it's the same place that, that Rainbow Poogle was just at. Oh wow, dropping the heal 2 staff is from Rainbow Poogle. That's a...
It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how that plays out. There's
I think she does have better spells to just like, and a lot of charges of them. So maybe it's fine.
Just going back for the chest in the reverse C room here, I believe. And we see of it. Got.
It was his second guess, so. It doesn't look like he knows where Matoya is either, though. Unless this is it.
Oh, we talked about Will or Bismarck?
Will.
Bismarck looks like he's off to the races. Yeah.
Bismarck is about to finally fight Kraken. If he follows up on this chime turn in immediately. Crystal isn't interested in chess anymore. He just knows that he needs to find Kraken. This is unfortunately not it. This dead end will lead to a couple dragons and like 2 chests. But at least he has exit now.
He's not going to lose too much time, but it is precious time. Well, Bismarck turns in the chime and actually knows where he has to go, because he's already done that before. So this is a fascinating moment where Bismarck looks to pull into the lead here. Clearly they're both in go mode for all the other equipment.
There are 3 different trapped tiles room with the chests.
Yeah, scrubs like me have a tendency of catching one of them. Oh, sorry. Did you?
Oh, and
the random final boss.
Oh, that's a lovely flag. I'm very fond of it from Final Fantasy IV Randomizer, so I'm glad it's made its way over here.
It's not the same in the sense that it selects one of 4 canned encounters, They're custom created to be a slightly different challenge. Generally, they're probably harder than Chaos, but not necessarily. One of them is a bit actually easier. The idea being, since it's random, maybe you can get away with a leaner party if you get really lucky, kind of thing. The alternate final boss is really designed to go with the shard hunt mode that we showed off on Saturday, because it doesn't have a final dungeon. You walk in the door and you fight the boss. So if you wipe, it's not the end of the world. You hardly lose any time at all.
Right, and we see Wilquios is picking up that nuke shirt.
Yeah. He's probably thinking, geez, anyone's had that for longer than me is going to, how am I still in this race? But the truth is, with all the orbs lit, he's right on their tails.
Yep. I think he's in the right place to find the Matoya's Cave as well. I'm not very good at I have it all written down of like where the things are from the overworld, but I didn't see which island he entered, so I'm not 100% certain I have that right.
Tristle's got his chime, so he's got a date with Kraken. He's probably thinking to himself, I wonder how deep this dungeon is, and boy do I hope Kraken is in it. And he's going to be relieved that it is not deep in the slightest, and in fact Kraken is waiting for him.
Here's Bismarck entering Topher.
Kicks in the door, and it's time to get this show started. So this is it. The final dungeon is not shuffled. It's a straight shot all the way to Chaos, with all 4 Fiend Revisited battles along the way, and everything else we've come to know and love from the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Does this mean it is Chaos, if we see this?
Oh no. No. If alternate final boss is checked off, it'll be one of 4 slightly different battles.
Okay. I misunderstood what you said about the shard hunt thing then. So shard hunt is a different mode, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like the what they call the Dorito hunt in Link to the Past Randomizer, or you know.
Except that it actually has a final boss.
That's correct. It does.
Hunting.
Yeah. So when you've collected enough shards, you go to the black orb, and it sort of warps you right into the boss fight. So we wanted a climactic final battle because it's more of a Final Fantasy style thing to do, but otherwise the feature borrows heavily from your Triforce hunt in Zelda randomizers.
Cool.
And I'm not going to spoil the 4 possible boss combinations. We'll just see what we get when we get there.
See what we get when we get there, and then we can talk about the other possibilities.
Sure.
Preferably after somebody actually duns.
Oh yeah. All right, Lich 2. Tristle makes short work of Kraken. He was the first to defeat Garland oh so long ago. Probably remembers, and is going to make a beeline for Temple of Fiends.
Yep.
Bismarck burning up the fire floor.
No unrunnables yet, I don't think.
With Unrunnable Shuffle, it does make Topher actually quite a bit easier because, you know, it has a lot of unrunnables, and when you shuffle them, you're going to shuffle most of them away. So that's to his advantage as he tries to cling to this lead.
That is a beefy hit from Carrie there. And with this kind of squishy back row, this could spell trouble.
Yeah, this could get ugly. We got a fair number of nuke charges. It's going to fast up that
Oh, wow.
Red Wizard.
White Wizard doesn't... Oh, White Wizard's toting that Opal Bracelet, so she tanked that carry melee.
And a Pro Ring, too, maybe? Oh, and then the Red Wizard comes through with a fasted up Massmut, so... Crisis averted there. He's got life.
That was a little scary. If you lose that White Mage there, then you're in serious trouble. Because Red Mage, I don't think he picked up life for his Red Mage after class changing. Maybe he didn't. I didn't see.
I should hope he did, but we'll find out.
I haven't seen very much of that White Mage or that Red Mage's spell menu because that character's mostly just meleeing with Mufflemune.
Yeah, that's right. Tristle now in Temple of Fiends as well. This is coming down to a pretty close race here. He's gonna rip through it for sure.
Rainbow Poogle has gotten the short end of the stick in a lot of ways. She's found just about every place that isn't an orb. is now struggling with an unrunnable sorcerer encounter without the nuke shirt. And she also doesn't have a black mage for some of that beefier magic, like Lit 3. Oh, she hadn't remembered to equip the Matsumin. That helps.
It does much more damage when you swing it at people instead of just holding it out. Okay.
She's going with the Masamune White Mage strats to give the White Mage some kind of damage output. Given that she has another good sword for her fighter, that's reasonable, I guess.
Only 52 from the black belt on the first hit against Kraken, who comes out with a fire 3. While that does a lot of damage to the black belt, honestly, that's better than attacking. Kraken's notorious attacks usually just kill whoever he touches.
Yep. Still not getting much damage output here, though.
No. He absorbs through the roof on
nice
this one.
crit.
So.
For 400, takes it
That's
out.
all it takes?
A little bit more nuke back. Well, there were some nukes landing there, too.
Oh, got a proper gaggle of vamps. Might get you one last level here, going into the big fight.
Yep.
Alright, Bismarck clinging to a lead here as he takes on Tiamat 2. Starting off with his typical fast and nukes. His Black Belt doing some good damage. Ooh, takes a nasty hit there. Still hanging on though.
Yeah, hang on. That's fine. Just keep... A lot of times you don't want to be spending too much time setting up your defenses. You just want to take them down as fast as possible. That seems to be the plan here. So, X-Ice goes down, but Tiamat's taken like almost 1,000 damage at this point. And he's just unloading those warps. Or, sorry, nukes.
It's gonna fall to the nukes and the red mage here. And now the real question is, how much health does Tiamat 2 have? Ooh, Ice 3's a bit savage, but he's got...
Pretty high max health.
Yeah. He's got enough ribbons that...
There it goes. That's around 1,300.
Pretty sturdy Tiamat 2, but Bismarck to the task. And now it's just time for the big show after he heals up and gets down to...
Well, plenty of healing spells left. He doesn't even need to take time to use potions.
Tristle's ripping up the water floor. He's going to get to Kraken 2.
Alright, let's see what we have. Do we see what it is by its sprite? No, we don't.
You may know.
I meant by the NPC sprite before you fight.
No time for the special fluff dialogue. Aha! It's mostly garlands, and there's one chaos in there, but you don't know which one it is to start. So this is the closest one to actually the standard final the standard final boss, because it is just a chaos surrounded by 8 garlands. But he's not necessarily in the middle. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure.
Nuke goes off.
And is there any challenge to this, you ask? If Garland happens to be script shuffled to have something like Nuke, this can get ugly. He might not have Nuke, but he might have something pretty bad that can make it.
It can also be really nasty if you lost your AoEers and you don't have res spells, and you can't just quickly clear out those garlands.
That's true too.
It can take a while to get the fight started.
Yeah, it gives him a bunch of free turns. So it's an interesting one, but it looks like it's gonna big game, and it's over. It's over.
With 154.50, I believe that was.
Bismarck 189 comes out of retirement and takes our alpha hype race just under 2 hours. 155, give or take.
Tristle's on the Tiamat too, so not too far behind. And that looked like a pretty easy chaos. His absorb wasn't very high. I saw that black belt crit really hard. And with multiple sources of nuke, I don't think it'll be a big trouble for Tristle either. Although it looks like Tristle's going to lose his Black Mage to Tiamat 2. But he's got res spells, he'll be fine. Yep, there goes Tiamat 2.
Bismarck wins yet another great race. It never fails that no matter how wacky and random it seems like it's going to be, the final finishers can often be very close together as Tristle prepares to take on Chaos himself. We'll see if we can get Bismarck in for some post-race chit-chat.
By the way, can we, you want to tell about the other possibilities for the final boss?
Right, so there's your Cloak of Chaos, which is the Chaos surrounded by garlands. There's one we like to call the Fun Dead, which is 2 Lich 2s and 4 or more Phantoms. So those Phantoms and Lich 2s can all hit pretty hard, but they usually don't have a lot of HP, and since they're all undead, we call them the Fun Dead, and it can be taken out pretty easily if you have a lot of good anti-undead. Then we've got a straight-up 1-2 punch of Carry 2 and Tiamat 2, but they look like a red D and a blue D because there's no real technical way to get the Carry and Tiamat sprites on there. And the final one is what we call Warmech and Friends, which is 2 Warmechs and 6 Evil Mans. And that's probably the hardest one, because the Warmechs just do savage damage and sometimes have really bad skills. And they're all a challenge. Best played after a shard hunt, because if you wipe to something like that, you don't lose the entire trip down Topher. Alright, let's zoom in as Tristle takes on the Cloaked Chaos.
Did these runners know what these possibilities were when they entered this race?
They may have. I know that the testers, like Will and Poogle, probably do. I don't know if Tristle has seen all 4 of these.
I mean, it's kind of hard to not see this and decide, well, I'm going to throw a nuke at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that approach works with a lot of things in this game.
Looks like he got good turn order, too. Not too many garlands took turns. Yeah, this Chaos doesn't have very much absorb, so he's going down pretty quickly.
And you'll notice that the Chaos is in a different spot for Tristle as it was for Bismarck. One of the cutest things about that is that it's always going to be different every time. So if you wipe and come back, it'll be in a different place. So you never know, even if you've seen the same scene before.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know you could do that.
That's just actually how the game engine naturally works. There's a couple of fights that show that off, like the Undead Party Pack in the Ice Cave, and the Wiz Mummy fight in the Waterfall. And joining us now to celebrate his victory is Bismarck. GG, man. What do you think?
I'm really happy. I just wanted to hop in. I can't talk long because I just had to bring Speedrunner Hudson up, which is why I didn't hop in immediately. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm going to go back in the chat and talk for the next 5 minutes, but then I have to get to bed because I have to work in the morning. But thanks, everybody, for watching us. I can't wait to see the tournament start, and I hope everybody has a wonderful evening.
You ran an awesome race.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Actually, looks like you checked about 15 more chests than Tristle, who just finished behind you by about 5 minutes. But you had that, Bismarck had that nuke shirt, and that really pushed him ahead.
Yeah, and he found his way around at the end of the game to get the last items he needed to unlock the final doors a little quicker than Tristle did, too. There were times when the lead, I'm pretty sure, switched back and forth. And it was some good late-game routing to save a little bit of time there, and then just a solid burst through Topher with his leveled up party. It looks like Will is... question from chat, where's the bottle? It was in Matoya's cave. And now ask me where Matoya's cave was. Might be right here after the vampire. No, this is a dead end. Matoya's cave was branched off of Sea Shrine 1 somewhere in Cardia. There was a lot in Cardia tonight, and it's hard to keep my head wrapped around all of it. Looks like Poogle has thrown in the towel with first and second done, and she's only got one orblet, so... GG, thanks for putting on the show and filling out our spot here and bringing your experience in Florida Shuffle, which is a pretty intimidating mode to play with us tonight, and tough luck with a bunch of bad breaks you had earlier, and good luck in the tournament to you as well. Let's see if Tristel's got a moment to chat. He might be unwinding after that tight second place finish.
Question in chat, what's Will doing? He's looking for Matoya. You need to get the Mystic Key to get through Temple of Fiends. And Matoya is, you have to go left from, it's the same issue that Broadster had in chat. You have to go left in the fork in Sea Shrine.
Yeah, just to reiterate, thanks so much to these runners for running this race. Our restreamer Randomania gave us Randomania 1 prime time tonight. Maximum Barnage, our restreamer Melee Wizard, doing an amazing job tracking more data than we have ever tracked before. Rainbow Poogle, Will Cleosis, Tristle MTG, Bismarck 189. Give these runners a follow. They would love your support. Poured their hearts out in this wacky new mode, which is quite a challenge just for you to even understand, let alone to complete. So thanks everyone who's involved. My co-commentator Silverfire, it's been a lot of fun calling the race with you tonight. And I'm Nits__ if you want to find me. Joining us in chat now is our tight second place finisher Tristel. GG tonight, man. Close race.
Yeah, GG. That was fun.
Any memorable moments for you that stick out?
I was sort of in a rut when I completed Ice Cave's quote-unquote incentive chest, only to find it was a silver knife. I was really, really hoping to find either rod or tail at that point, and then, yeah, that didn't work out as well as I had hoped. But I think I got a ribbon out of there, so at least there's that.
Yeah, you did find a ribbon though, so it wasn't completely dead. But our first place finisher Bismarck had first of all, he found that nuke shirt a lot earlier than you, and second of all, when he found that ice cave, he also went through it, but he had class changed already. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, he found Matoya's cave really early, and so he was able to sneak out of there with the bottle and go get the tail, you know, from behind the sub-engineer, like very early. Well, not very early, but medium early. And so he had access to warp and the nuke shirt, and so he built up a bit of a lead on you. But purely from like routing and execution, you made it very close. And then at the end, you didn't complete the slab chime quest quite as quickly, so he got a bit of time back while you were looking for where Kraken was at the very, very end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, not having warp or exit was a real killer. That darn keep permissions flag, I think, kept me from winning here.
That's a nasty flag.
What do you think of item magic? Is it too wacky to be taken seriously? Because I think so, and I helped make it.
I was actually getting pretty worried that there would be just literally no useful items at all, because it was just like Confuse and Exfer and Fog and Ice 1. And yeah, it's nice to not always have the Power Gauntlet or, you know, some other stuff that's just really useful. Occasionally we do get some seeds where it's just completely ridiculous, you know. You'll get the early Nuke shirt and you'll have a Cure 4 staff or whatever, and that can get pretty busted, but that's okay. This is Chaos. That's fine.
Yeah, it might be worthy of a two-tier flag, like one to randomize it, another one to allow it to have the absolutely most powerful stuff, whatever that may be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know how much that would actually get used.
Yeah, it's hard to put the cat back in the bag. So Will is still desperately looking for that blind old lady so he can get his hands on the herb. And
it's interesting that he's still checking chests thoroughly. I think because he still thinks he might need the bottle. But little does he know those are in the same place.
Yeah, he is tantalizingly close.
One thing that I think might be underplayed a little bit here is the idea of, like, getting to one of these dead ends and being like, well, the items I found aren't that important. I'm gonna reset to cast the exit spell. Yeah,
true. That's, that was like a popular strategy early game. Back in the day, like, you would pop into dwarves to see if they had lazy dwarves TNT in there, and if not, you could just reset back to the middle of the ocean to sail down to Elfland, something like that. But, you don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a strat that gets brought back for the Centric's randomizer. Especially with how deep some of these places are.
Yeah, that Cardia 4 was insane. Just so many floors. Like, I had to try and make decisions if I wanted to keep going and stick it out, or...
Is that the one that eventually leads to Vampire, I think?
That sounds right, yeah.
Or are we talking the one with the Marsh Cave split? That one way goes to Sarda and the other way went to Carrie, I think.
The other way went to Vampire.
Yeah, Vampire. Oh. The Vampire one was just a really deep dead end. That's the one that Will Cleosis is, I think, walking out of right now. And where I'm suggesting the strong considering of, let's just hit the reset button to get out of here. Of course, I have the information that's, like, more information than Will Cleosis does, and as far as, like, what's here. He might also decide that, like, some of that stuff he found was important enough to keep. I think there's 2 ribbons in here, so... Kind of hard to defend, or to say that that's not a defensible decision when you get 2 ribbons out of it.
So, Tristly, you've obviously been doing a lot of practice, getting ready for the tournament. Does this just completely melt your brain to do this and then try to go right back to that?
Well, if I were to try and do, like, my tournament race right now, yeah, my brain's a little melted for that. I usually need to sleep it off to get back into a normal, quote-unquote, tournament mode, kind of reboot my brain a little bit. But just doing one of these alone is not too bad. You know, I take enough notes so that I'm not completely lost when I'm doing stuff. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It just takes a little while.
Do your notes have where Matoya's are? Because mine are incomplete in that respect.
Well, part of the trick with my taking notes is that if I find something and I never need to go back, I don't bother writing it down.
Ah.
I want to say it was the 5th Cardia Island, the one where you needed the cube.
Okay.
It was definitely one of the Cardia Islands, I'm not sure which.
I know it was one of the Cardia Islands.
It was the 2nd Cardia hole. That led to...
So how do you number them?
From the west. So the first one's the easy one. The 2nd island has the 2 holes. That's 2 and 3. Then
okay, so it's the north. It's the north hole there, not the Bahamut hole.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that had Matoya and Elf Castle.
That's what we're currently waiting on Wilkweels to eventually find, because both the bottle and the herb are there, and the Mystic Key. But looks like he might be a little lost, and he might try going in the Mirage Tower now. No, he's already done Mirage Tower. Never mind. Oh no, you've already been to Castle Ordeals.
No,
Looks like
Will.
there might be a gap. Looks like there might be a gap in his notes because Ordeals was Earth Fiend.
Yeah, one of the frustrations of floor shuffle, like entrance shuffle, I can sort of keep in my head completely. Floor shuffle can be very difficult to keep in your head.
I actually didn't realize this was floor shuffle when I signed up for commentary. I thought it was just entrance shuffle.
Even that requires pretty good memory.
I mean, I came prepared with my notepad, but my way of taking notes had not been thought through thoroughly enough to do floor shuffle.
It's pretty hard.
In a weird way, though, you sort of have the same number of relevant entrances, so it's not too bad. You do get a couple branching paths to change things up, but other than that, it's actually sort of similar in my view. Now, when you add town shuffle to it, that's when it really gets crazy.
I wasn't sure if we were going to tonight, but they didn't turn that one on. Looks like Will is going to throw in the towel. He's or not. Maybe it was just
he just had to. You might have just had to look at his notes.
A moment of deep reflection and soul searching. All right, he's still going. We're gonna follow him for about another half hour. Hopefully, make some progress, and we might put a sunset on it if he can't find his way by then. But we're gonna cheer for him in the meantime. So we know he needs to get to Cardia Island to get to Matoya, because she not only will exchange Cheese Crystal for the herb, but she's also got a bottle in one of her chests that can lead to the tail to get him promoted if he wants to do that quest as well. While we
yes, that's where you need to go, Will.
Yes, park that ship. That's the word. While we wait for Will, are there any questions from chat? Anything you want to ask about alpha, development, anything you want to ask Crystal while he's here? Like, this is a great chance. We're all here ready to answer some questions, so shoot anything you got at us.
Oh no, you picked the wrong one. At least he's not checking chests anymore. I think he does know that he found it. He's missing a fork in the road, though. Any questions in the chat? Go ahead.
Any softball planted questions? Sardia. How many matchups will take place overall in the Swiss round? There will be 5 rounds. And if we have... what do we have? 46 entrants? So that's 23 around. 23 times 5 is 115.
Yeah, 23 per round, and then it's 5 rounds. Does it cut to top 8, Sardia? I'm not actually certain.
Cuts to top 16.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. So after 5 rounds, you're gonna have a certain number of 5-0s.
This is actually a showcase, so this isn't part of the tournament. JKTD. The tournament. This was the bracket announcement before the tournament, informing everyone of revealing what all of the matchups were for the first round.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really close ones too that'll be fun to keep our eyes on. There's some veterans of the game that have been playing for a long time. There are some newcomers that are making a name for themselves very quickly. There are some suspected blowouts where we've got, a newcomer facing off against a known veteran, and we've got a lot of places where it's a couple of unknowns or it's a couple of really well-balanced players who have played the game for a long time. So we've got just about every sort of match you could have in the first round, and that's what you expect when you randomly shuffle it. So wishing everyone the best luck and looking forward to some great races.
As far as bracket schedule, I believe it's just a deadline for each round that people can schedule whenever they want. But the first round's deadline, let me double check that.
Yeah, so the rules were very recently formalized about the amount of time that the racers have to schedule and complete their races. You got to keep things moving so that it doesn't spiral out of hand. You don't want to DQ anybody or force them to lose for not making their race times, but you got to get things done on the schedules. Drag. There's a lot of administrative work to running an event like this, and all of that, those rules and regulations are communicated out to the players sort of as they get sorted out ahead of the tournament, and so that everybody's working off the same documents. You know, you want everyone to be on the same page.
So Swiss round 1 it will be May 30th to June 5th. You have to finish your match with whoever your assigned opponent is by June 5th, and then it's basically a week for each additional round. I believe there's going to be some grace period around GDQ, maybe. I hope, because I know a number of people that are going to that. But then anyway, after that, there will be a, so after 5 rounds, you'll have 2 players with perfect scores at 5-0, and 7 players at 4-1, which is good enough to advance. And then 14 players tied at 3-2, approximately, depending on what happens with pairing up or pairing down. Who will need to, basically there will be a giant race-off, and so it'll be 7 slots remaining in the top 16, and those 14 players will need to race off for those top 7, for the top, 7 slots. It's a deadline, it's not a deadline to send in a video, it's a deadline to schedule your match, and then I believe, commentators will attempt to stream as many of them as can be arranged, but that scheduling will be done on the fly. The races are done live, but they're not required to be restreamed on Randomania or other channels like it.
And another goal is that races that can't be restreamed with commentary live, which is something we would love to do as much as we can, with our broadcast partners, Speed Gaming and, of course, Randomania. Whichever ones don't make it to live restream will be later, ideally, composited back together and published as VODs to hopefully Twitch and YouTube, just to get people's names out, to catalog everything for future people that get interested. I know I found FFR because of YouTube suggestions saying, hey, you like this, you like that, you might like FFR, and of course I do. So if it works for me, it might draw more attention to this great game, so that's kind of the idea.
I don't believe there's any hard and fast rules about what you have to do with chats. Spoilers in chat are a big no-no, but I believe it's as long as you have that well policed, then it's fine. Emote only is a suggested way of doing that, but it's not strictly enforced.
Bottom line, don't cheat. Don't think about cheating. Try not to find out what is and is not cheating. That's the honorable way to go about it. But yeah, emote only is great so that no one can accidentally spoil anything for you.
There also is a rematch rule where if both players basically end up in a seed that appears difficult beyond reason, if the players agree to reseed, then they can agree to do that. But it has to be an agreement between both players. And the match is still required to occur before the end of the week that they're scheduled.
So Will's got his key. He hasn't unleashed the fairy from the bottle and picked up the Oxio, so he doesn't have the tail yet. We'll see if he's going to bother with that, or if he's happy with his current go mode situation.
I mean, well, we'll see. He might want to do that so that he can have nuke, but I'm not sure if he knows that that is what it is, so he might not go looking for it.
On the other hand, he may have literally full cleared every other thing and have a pretty strong suspicion at any rate.
Yeah, it looks like he's turning in that bottle. Let's see. I'm scrolling up to see if I missed any questions regarding the tournament. I don't think I missed any. Okay. Looks like he's just prepping some consumables for UFR. I don't think he's going to end up finding that tail.
I like the equipment on Olay there. He's got 4 caster items on his black belt, including a nuke shirt.
I'm disappointed he didn't try to buy 10 crowns.
What does the NPC say? If anything?
It says that'll be 167,000.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, he lets you do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's just going in, no class change. This will actually be the only non-class change finish we'll see. Nitz and I, Silverfire, are not doing this from our own streams tonight. So, yeah, our stream should be offline. But you can follow us anyway if you'd like.
Yeah, that link seems to have 3 underscores.
Oh, okay.
No
You're
one
right,
can seem to get just the right number of underscores. It's the underscore so nice, I underscored it twice. But sometimes there was 1, or none, or 3. I'm sure a lot of other great folk have... man, I really need to pick a more original name by the sounds of it, but it's my name now, you can't wear it out. Alright, Will is in Topher. Freshly charted soil for a couple of our champions to recap. Bismarck won around hour 55, 154.54. Crystal followed that at 158.31, so just under 4 minutes separating first and second.
Says, unfortunately, I had to do some backtracking to figure out what was missed.
Yeah, if you look at the total step count, which gets interesting in Floor Shuffle because there is more accidental retreading and unnecessary retreading between Bismarck and Tristle.
Wow, I had not noticed how close that was between Bismarck and Tristle.
Yeah, like 154 steps. And then if you look at the resets and the power-ups, Tristle with a few more resets, so obviously using the technique of burning off encounters off his encounter table to save some fights. And then Bismarck with 5 nothing here's wasted a bit of time chatting with the bats in the bat room, I believe. And 21 can't holds for Tristle, slightly more times that he opened a treasure box and wasted a bit of time because his inventory was already full. But those are all pretty small, and that step count being nearly identical is amazing. We'll see what Will's is. That step counter was kind of mindless until now because people always had
that really shows you like that means that almost all of that time gap was the nuke shirt. Because it wasn't from walking around to different places. The walking around was probably mostly negated by the additional walking that Tristal had to do for not having exit was negated by checking fewer chests, for the most part.
Yeah. You're wondering, it says 192 out of 241. Didn't he, like, clear everything? It's like, well, he didn't... There's 7 chests in Topher for sure that he didn't get. And anytime you check a chest and then, like, say reset or wipe, but you don't bother going back because, you know, you didn't need it, that's not going to be accumulated there either. So,
also, he didn't go into all of the various places with locked key chests. So there's a handful there. Because I think by the time that came around, a lot of the, like, he was done checking chests.
yeah, at the end of the day, phenomenally close. It never ceases to amaze me how you can play such an unknown game and end up with such similar times.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through in my head how many chests I actually didn't check. And I'm coming up with 11 in my head. The 7 Topher chests, the Sea Shrine key-locked chest, and the Marsh key-locked chests, I think, are it.
So that would get
but then you reset out of some
Is
of
it possible that you reset out of...
Oh, I definitely reset out of a lot of them, yeah.
Like
you reset out
50?
once or twice.
Definitely.
Okay, so the number checks out.
Oh, wow, that zap. And with no resurrection for Wilcliosis now.
He didn't class change, so he never had it anyway.
Yeah, he never had any resurrection in the first place. That's still really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's bad luck. Well, it looks like he's at least gonna... He's not resetting out yet, even though he's just on carry. He's gonna carry on. And, take on Kraken next. My suspicion is if he loses anyone else to Kraken, it's reset. But if he gets by Kraken, he might just try to blaze all the way there.
Does he have that defense sword? Because that's one of the things that really lets a character potentially solo all the way through.
I'm sorry, sir. Defense sword?
Oh yeah, it was in Viz sword, wasn't it?
This is a poor man's defense sword, but you can use it on anybody else.
I mean, there was a fog staff that's sort of close.
Yeah, the Fog 2 stick was pretty good. Once in a while you get something sweet like a Cure 4. That's a sweet find.
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot that I had stashed the Heal 2 gauntlet on my black belt. I don't think I activated this. I may have activated it once in the chaos fight, and that was it.
So he's not healing his fighter until the last second, which could have come back to bite him, but...
a little scary.
Yeah. Sometimes you get caught up, you're like, I just want to get to the tile before Kraken, and then I'll heal up, and then you get in a fight, 3 steps before that. That can be devastating, so I mean, just heal up. And it's even faster if you don't give potions to people at full health.
I think everyone here's done that.
Yeah, I'm just razzing him because we're pals. If it was somebody I didn't know, I probably wouldn't take so many snarky shots at him. But it's Will.
Sometimes menu boss is the most difficult boss.
Yeah, this whole game is basically a giant menu boss. Oh boy.
There's that nuclear Kraken. This was a scary fight for some of our earlier runners too.
He'd love to be able to keep fast for the last couple of bosses, so he's really hoping to get this over with quick, and he does. I would be tempted.
And yes, Kraken will one-shot Ole if he melees, because Ole only has 1 absorb due to just having equipped the ribbon, which glitches out the or rather the deactivates the black belt's innate absorb.
Yeah, I would like him to move his black belt up into the second slot to take more likelihood of getting hit.
He doesn't want that. He doesn't want that at all.
Well,
his black belt has no absorb. He'll just get 1 shot.
You got a point there.
He wants all of those to go on the fighter. At least until after Tiamat. He's hoping for a level up on the black belt, which will fix the black belts.
Oh no, it won't. That got fixed a long time ago.
Fixed? Oh, nice.
That loophole has been closed. If you equip that black belt with any gear... So what we're talking about, if you stayed with us this long and you're like, what are they talking about? Black belts, if completely unequipped, have an absorb equal to their level, which is reasonably high at this point. If they have any gear equipped, then their absorb is equal to the sum total of their gear, just like other classes. So since it just has a ribbon on, he's just got one absorb, and that is not a lot of absorb. By comparison, if unequipped, he would have...
not have an extra bracelet to throw on the black belt?
He's got him loaded down with magic casting gear, and I'm not sure if he...
The only magic casting gear that matters is the nuke shirt, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's... Maybe he doesn't completely know that nuance. Maybe he's still thinking he's getting his natural absorb. I'm not sure.
Well, if Tiamat 2 wants to be a mage, it won't matter anyway, because that ribbon will do the work.
Ribbon wards off from rub. Remember that even with resistances to death attacks, they mostly have a 1% chance of working anyway, which could be absolutely game-changing if that were to happen to him.
Ooh, survives the melee from Tiamat. But in danger of dying to even just incidental AoE damage at this point.
One of the recent, we call it a bug fix. Oh, and he hangs on through the lit too because of that ribbon. Let's call it a bug fix. One of the recent changes we've made that has just been adopted rather universally was a fix to the battle RNG that determines turn order. So in the original game, turn order is heavily biased towards the enemies going first almost every round. It's slightly randomized, but only so little that you can count on if there's one enemy and one ally, say that enemy's going to go first, you know, most of the time. And we re-engineered the algorithm to be much fairer.
Interesting, that's news to me.
And so now virtually all the characters have an equal chance of going in any order every combat round. I mean, it's closer to totally fair. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's, you know, it's indistinguishable from fair. Whereas the original one was heavily biased.
Black Mage almost just fell out of nowhere from a random vampire battle. Just took a critical hit to the face. Gets revenge with the nuke shirt.
And he's hanging on here. It would be nice if that black belt would have leveled up to 32, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen now, so he's going to get in there and do it.
Yeah, I would have secured that the chaos fight a lot more, although this wasn't a particularly difficult chaos fight, even though it's the chaotic chaos fight. Uh-oh, that's the other issue.
Heals.
No more heal potions.
Just going to get that nuke shirt off.
I'm surprised he's putting the heal gauntlet on the, whatever. I'm not gonna question it.
Question it. That's what we do here. Ah, he's like, ah, crap. He probably didn't realize that flag had even been set and was expecting a vanilla chaos. But this won't be too bad if he gets that nuke shirt off. Then
at least he does get the nuke shirt off.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Those Garland
it went off.
Hit him.
He's fine.
He hangs on.
Alright, the top middle one this time. Oh man, we could have made a game out of which spot is Chaos going to be in.
Oh, he survives a lit too. If he can get a fast off on one of these guys, that'll really help. A stun doesn't do anything. Gives him a free turn. Oh, big damage there. Another 244, and we recall Chaos being pretty soft.
Yeah, Chaos is going to drop no problem.
He's in good shape. His Black Mage still got 10 health. Looks like he's going to live through it with his buddies.
Live through it. Nice.
GG Will Cleosis. Picks up third place at 234.40, give or take.
Oh.
And we'll get him in for some...
a little bit of a meme on his stream.
Yeah. Woo!
Alright.
we finally, let's see if we can get him in here. But we finally have our finish. Maybe someone should stop the timer now.
No, we're just gonna. It's like that clock in England that's just been ticking forever. And Will, battle results 210 battles. Not too many amateurs, not too many strikes first. 103 runs.
Five wipes.
Tracking that was insane, says Melee Wizard. I believe that.
Tracking that from our end was also insane.
I'm not even completely sure it's over.
I'm going to barge in here and thank everyone for everything that they've done in here tonight, and say that if you think tonight's tracking was good, we got an even bigger tracker for you tomorrow.
The good news is in the tournament, it's just 1v1 races generally, so a little more to wrap your head around. A little less to wrap your head around.
So we were planning to have a little bonus event post-race, but seeing as most runners were completely drained from this ordeal, we will be postponing that until the next bonus event, which will occur here on Randomania, and that will be scheduled in the near future.
Just going to wait a second longer and see if Will wants to pop in, give his thoughts on the race. One more time, that was Rainbow Poogle, Will Cleosis, Tristal MTG, and our champion tonight, Bismarck 189. Give these guys a follow, and Girl, they could really use your support. They put on, they do stream a lot, and they know this game quite well, and they race for our entertainment, and that's the least we can do to say thanks. And joining us in chat is our bronze medal winner tonight, Will Cleosis.
Hi, Nitz.
Hey, 2 hours and a half and the job is done. What'd you think of that race?
You know what? I made a kind of a move earlier. I don't know if anyone else did in getting them going. It ended up that I had the money for the crown, and then I just happened to find Northwest Castle, which was the ice cave, and I had that crystal early, and I was really hoping that that would turn into something, and it didn't until obviously the end. I've run probably about 40 of these, maybe even 50, and each time I get is always 232, 235, 236, or 238. So this is consistent with what I've been doing, but I thought I would have done better time-wise.
So you know something interesting, actually. You were the first one to have all 4 orbs lit.
Yeah, I had all 4 orbs right around the 130, 135 mark, and I knew that finding Matoya was the key. And had anyone been promoted at that point? Anyone else?
So Bismarck got promoted really early. The tail was in on-rack.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like almost a straight shot to a little dragon outpost.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, I gave up on that obviously at the end. Once I got the Ox, I was going for it in Gaia. Once we got the bottle, I got it so late though in Matoya, and I was hoping that she would give it to me. I would get promoted and I would have gotten life. And I would have kept the ribbon probably on the Red Wizard at that point, had he had life. I think he can learn it. The magic keep permissions really messed me up.
Yes, Red Mage can learn a life 1, but not life 2.
Right. So making that move early, and then I should have level grinded a little bit more. I don't know if you guys saw the issues that I had. I perished many, many times. Cost me some time, and then I just had to keep leaving.
Yeah. So we actually had some pretty diverging strategies from everyone. So you had all the orbs lit much earlier than everyone else. You and one other runner had that early, I think it was you and Bismarck had that early crystal pickup from Astos. I think you had by far the earliest, but both of you had a pretty early crystal pickup from Astos. Unfortunately, you didn't turn left in that particular Sea Shrine level, which led to Matoya.
Yeah, and what happened there was I think I saw it and I think I left. It was about 45 minutes before the end of the game, and I knew I couldn't get out. I knew that I saw the fork, and I'm like, well, if one's a fiend, or I wasn't sure if I had fiends at that point, I didn't think I'd be able to get back out. So when I went back in, I went right, and then I mismarked it on my tracker.
Gotcha.
Ah, that explains it, because we saw you kind of floundering a bit there, and then we were all pulling for you, and then you recovered and you found it and you finished really well. So
thank you.
GG once again. A solid finish on just an absolutely wacky setting that I am so relieved that it worked perfectly. Once again, the stability of our alpha software hangs by a thread. These men's courage hangs by a thread.
Yes, congratulations to Bismarck. Great time. Tristel, as always, kicking some butt. Very well done. Congratulations.
And thanks for that. I guess, Sar, do you have any last sentiments?
Stay tuned for more. We got a match on deck tomorrow. Looks like we've already got scheduled matches coming in here for Randomania. It's going to be really interesting to see how things develop. Check out the Discord. Give our hardworking crew here a follow. Thank you, Randomania, for hosting this event and the upcoming events. And as I said, we'll get that bonus event scheduled as soon as we can for you folks. And again, thank you, everybody.
Will, any final words?
Hey, as always, thank you for having me, Nitz. Thank you very much. Silverfire, nice to meet you. Thank you for taking care of commentary. It's been a long night. Maximum Barnage, I think you were the tracker today. Thank you. That had to be very fun, keeping track of all that. And Czar, I'll see you in the tournament.
Barnage is actually our restreamer tonight. Melee Wizard was on the tracker, and he did a bang-up job.
Okay, thank you.
Silver, any last words?
See y'all in the tournament.
And I guess for myself, I'd like in particular to thank Silver for joining me tonight. We just got thrown into that bracket reveal, and I think we gradually sorted things out as it went along. And I had a lot of fun.
I admit I wasn't prepared to do the bracket reveal. I was prepared to do the race commentary.
Yeah, I feel you. And it showed. But we pulled together. We got the job done. So I'm excited by the first round of this tournament and coming back at a hiatus to call some more races. And there's so much hype and so much like furor in this community right now that it's like a great place to be, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So for Randomania and our restreamer Maximum Barnage and our tracker Melee Wizard and my co-commentator Silverfire and our league admin Sar, good night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Team Steak.